And imagine the machete guy.
Right.
Oh God,
He pops
It
up,
would be.
we're on
Yeah,
shrooms.
for me, it's a little different.
If you need a
he's
trip
all he
sitter,
hears
about
is
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
I'm a pretty good trip sitter. If you need me to come through, I can.
Sean.
Kill, Sean.
You guys heard that too, right?
Welcome back to Unstable Discourse, baby.
Hey,
Yeah, boy. Yo. Yes, sir.
It is season 4, whole 9, episode 7 of the front 9 of season 4.
Yes.
It's me, Alex Seminary of Disc Golf Chicago, here with Ryan Fancher of Unstable Disc Golf Gear,
Yes, sir.
Sean Callahan of Delwood Disc Golf,
Your boy.
Jason Callahan of Bag of Tricks.
Present.
Yes, he is. And we're joined today by Mr. David Cope.
Yeah.
He listens. He gets it. David Cope of Fox Valley Metro Disc Golf Club.
It's a mouthful.
Love, Peace, and Cope.
Peace, love, and cope.
Peace, Love, and Cope, your show on
Fact,
YouTube.
yeah.
And I'm missing one thing.
I feel like when you say his full name, David Cope, it should be like Sir David Cope. Like you've
Sir
been
David,
knighted.
yeah.
Like,
Yes.
All
does
right.
that feel right?
I can
don't
hear
know.
that.
We should start that program.
Yeah.
I thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, I emailed the Queen right before her untimely passing. She didn't get
Yeah.
back to me.
Right.
But maybe
Well-
we can speed things along.
We'll reach back.
there's a prince I think you can reach out to or something now.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, I don't like titles at all. I often get called president, and I'm like, no, I like it. Like I'm cool with kind of holding everything together and whatever. Like, you know, it's nice to have some say in what goes on, especially at your home course, whatever. But at the same time too, like this is a group, you know. It doesn't
Right.
this does not happen, and I feel blessed to be where I'm at, you know. I kind of got gifted the Fox Valley Metro thing, so I'm blessed and, you know, happy that everybody's still a part of it.
Amen.
We're all doing this thing together. I don't need to be recognized as anything. I just want us all to pitch in, and yeah, I want to have some say in what happens. But like, we should all be on the same level. Like that's
We're
that's
all
how it feels right.
presidents.
That's the title of the
We're
episode.
all cooks. We can all be in the kitchen together.
we're all presidents. That's it. Good stuff. I remember the thing I forgot is we are also going to get to the finale of Destination Penetration on this episode.
Oh, yes, we
We're
are.
gonna figure some places out.
What is the agreement we made, guys, before this episode?
That wherever we land on being the final course, we are going to said course.
So for listeners who are just, catching, let me catch you up to speed. We started 3 episodes ago, I think, with a bracket with 16 different destination courses, the top free destination courses in the world. And we've been pitting them against each other to see which one seems cooler, which one we'd want to go to. And we've agreed, whichever one takes the cake, we're going to make a trip out there as a crew.
Yes, sir.
And bear in mind that some of these are not in America. Some of these are very far away.
Mm-hmm.
Does that scare anybody?
That makes me a little nervous because I know that we are committing to this concept. So if I become the swing vote, I think I'm going to swing inside the US of
Yeah,
A. Personally.
I can already.
Uh,
I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna make a note on the laptop, and I'm not gonna reveal it to anyone until the episode is over.
Which one you think is going
Yeah.
to win?
Ooh, we should all do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We should all do that.
Okay.
All right,
but
let's
anyway,
do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of fun stuff we're going to get to. By the way, I haven't told listeners about your sort of credentials outside of disc golf. Your show, Peace, Love, and Cope, is where they can ask. You're a budtender,
I was
You
for
were a
a
bud
long
tender.
time, yes.
and listeners, viewers, they can ask you anything.
100%, please. I am more on the basic consumption side of things. I think where's my expertise? A lot of people don't even know the basics of consumption, and there's just a few things. If you get it right, you can actually get some decent results. And cannabis is a beautiful kind of Swiss Army knife as far as the medical world goes. It's not a end all be all. It's not a cure by any means. I hate that word. It's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as symptom alleviation goes, it is the cat's meow, right? Like there's nothing that beats the immediacy or the different levels of efficacy. So how many different methods of ingestion we're dealing with, and just how robust the plant is on its on its own, right? But I think each individual too, it's a case by case instance where what you're going through with fibromyalgia might be different than what somebody else is going through with fibromyalgia. But if we all understand that fibromyalgia is a pretty much basic classification of chronic inflammation, if we deal with inflammation, that we're actually more directly treating a condition than we would say we are. But a lot of times people say, I am in pain because of inflammation, and they don't even know what inflammation is, to be dead honest with you. I literally sat in front of somebody that said, she said, I got fibromyalgia. I said, great, we're going to deal with inflammation then. And she said, no, I have pain. And I was like, no, I understand that, but that's because of inflammation. And she goes, I don't have inflammation. I have
it just
pain.
hurts.
And like, it was that moment that clicked to me where it's like, not a lot of us actually know what health is. You know, it's not just going to the doctor when we feel weird. That's not taking care of your health. Health starts first in your head. And
I didn't come here to be attacked.
Yeah, and I'll get you too. Listen, I heard you only had a Coke and a cherry Coke for lunch, so you better calm down. Over there.
It's true.
He got him.
Got him.
Yeah.
He got me. Yeah.
There's some snickerdoodles in the middle of the table, though. He's fine.
There were 5. Now there are only 2.
and
Yeah.
they're not not
gummy
infused at all.
Yeah.
All cannabis looking snacks, just no cannabis.
Yeah.
Right.
I love where we're headed with this conversation already. First and foremost, because you're the like antithesis of pothead, of like the stoner stereotype. But you're sitting in front of me with a headband on with pot leaves all over it and a big old beard. So without talking to you, I would have been like, check out this stoner.
Right.
And now here we are. And you've said 20 things smarter than I've ever said in the first 5 minutes you've been here.
Yeah.
As he was talking, I was like, well, I know some of those words.
I don't think I know what inflammation is either.
Right?
Come on.
Why do I have owies? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, this thing to me, I got kind of schooled my first day into cannabis. Like I always wanted it to be a thing for me. I love cannabis. It was something that did something very personal for me and got me over tons of that growing anxiety through especially high school and all those weird times where social cliques and stuff are hard to fit in.
Totally.
The cannabis crew, the Dungeons and Dragon crew, like those were way more my speed of like, you know, I didn't, it was less flashy. It was a little more grounded and
Introspective too.
100%. I like having conversations, man. But
I've only been with you for 20 minutes now, and I've gathered that, and that's why I'm so excited for this conversation.
Yeah. Sure. So I mean, it started like way back in the day. My aunt has lupus, or it's my mother's best friend, and she benefited greatly from the use of cannabis. She moved out to Colorado when we were younger. I remember like when we were younger, she was like the funnest person in the whole world, right? Like my favorite person, and as she progressed through life, we saw this kind of, okay, she's sick, but we don't know what sick is. We're kids, right? So it's like she's progressing and it's hurting because it's one of your favorite people. And then to see her kind of start to come back into the middle of the dance floor and she's laughing more. And I'm like, okay, she's not sick anymore, right? Like I'm pumped up. I'm like, it's my aunt's back, you know? And then to find out maybe it's just the plant that so many people have such an opinion on and it's like, wait a minute, I actually am benefiting from it. You know, once I started to realize what was going on with her, it was because I was going through my personal journey. Ever since then, it's like, okay, I have to do this thing. And then when it came to be a thing in Illinois, I was like, no matter what, I started applying everywhere. And, you know, even when I got my first interview, I was like, this will never, like, I'm going to walk in, there's going to be 1,000 people sitting there.
It was like a dream job for you?
How can't it be? I mean, when you're this into something that's been beneficial to your family member and somebody that you care about, to be able to be part of it at all. And I don't know that I went in for the right reason. I know that I did. I wanted to be there for my aunt. But when I went in, it was like super personal too. I'm like, hey man, pot's cool and stuff. And I used to say kind of trivial words, but the bad words of cannabis have also given this thing a bad name. High is too close to everything else that exists. We say high for every drug that exists.
That's such a good point.
So the second somebody says, oh, you get high on that, anybody who's intimidated by intoxication, moot point. We're done. We'll stop talking.
Yeah.
You know, stoned is if you did something bad in the Bible. You know, weed is something we spray killer on. Like there's there's too many things that are closely related and bad in vocabulary that don't get us to where we need to be. And for me, I didn't have that in me until I was literally in my first job, and my boss came up to me and thanked everything in the world for her because she actually put me in the right mindset. But she said, she came up to me and I talk a lot, and I might be cocky at some points in some respects, especially when you get your dream job now you're the man, you're doing your thing. And day one, she comes up and she goes, "Oh, cool. What'd you get in for?" I said, "My aunt, lupus." "Okay, what is lupus?" I was like, "Oh, that's the sickness that my aunt has." And she's like, "Well, well, what is it?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, well, she was tired sometimes, and she wasn't so much fun, And she's like, "The fuck does that have to do with it?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I honestly don't know." And she goes, "Good. Stop acting like you know. Put your face in a book and actually learn something. Lupus is a autoimmune disease, right? It's a classification of different styles of disease, and that's all I'm looking for." And I was like, "Whoa! Like, I don't have my mind in the right place. I wanted to come in and go, smoke this and smoke that because I like it." And the second that came across to me, I was like,
She made you a student.
100%. And I got paid to be a student, which was awesome. I mean, somebody literally, and there wasn't a lot of people at the beginning. We got to, and it was also face-to-face conversation with every walk of life. The amount of people that came in and go, "Please don't ever tell anybody that I'm in here." And I'm like, what does it matter? I wish we could break that stigma down because grandma, grandpa, your mom, your dad, your aunts, your uncles, even then, when you start seeing the children too come through and the epileptic seizure rate go from hundreds in a month to 0. And then even then, like grand mal seizure count going from, multiple a day to 0 for hundreds of days. Like, it was way more eye-opening than just, "Let's smoke this because I think it's cool, man." And then,
That's incredible, dude.
Yeah, I think
cool.
I think the thing is just it's super worth kind of knowing about. And if it's not for everybody, I respect, and a lot of people aren't cannabis consumers, whatever. All to you. And I'm not one to say it's for everybody, but for those who need it and those who could benefit from symptom alleviation, which all of us could, bazinga. One of the best things.
Bazinga.
It's one of the best things you're ever gonna get. I mean,
how's
pink
that?
drink's pretty good, but
How's that for a preview of what this episode's going to be like, guys? This is going to be awesome, and I feel like we have still more layers to peel back on that. But
remember when Jim said he didn't know what a rundown was?
Yeah,
that was a
come on. That was a rundown.
I'm gonna dive in to the rundown. I'll be exhausted because it's like a triathlon. Did you want to close this?
All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's get our usual format going. We'll get to the nuts and bolts when we get there. First, let's get into Fired Up.
Fired up. All right.
Forgive me for almost cutting you off.
That was
amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That was for you.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Perfecto. All right, and are you the most fired up right now, or who's the most fired up?
I am not. Someone else go.
I'll go first.
Run it.
I'm super fired up about something.
You are.
I haven't been fired up about something in a long time.
Yeah.
I will say it's been a decade at least. But
Relax.
I, on the
Saw
way here,
the best movie of all. Go ahead.
invented a game for you guys tonight to play.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Take
this
it
is what
easy
I'm
with
fired
the
up about. It's gonna be
games,
so much
You're
fun.
doing that a lot lately.
It's gonna be so much fun. Yeah. So this is something that I do in my free time because I think it's funny. I will come up with what I think are clever cover band names.
Ooh, I love this already.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you have my attention.
So what I have a game for you guys to where I'm going to set it up. Okay. I'm going to tell you who's in the band and I'm going to tell you what kind of music they would cover. And you need to tell me what you think the best band name is for that person or that band.
So are you going to tell us the tribute band? Like,
let me give you an example. Let me start with an example.
Yeah,
I did
that
make
sounds
one
good.
that's an example for you guys.
Perfect.
Okay. So when you think you have the answer, you're just going to say your name into the microphone and then I will.
That's the way that we're gonna buzz in. Is say
Yeah, you say your name.
That
Say your
never-
own name.
never
and
works.
Then, John! And then, yep, exactly. And then I'll say, go ahead. And then you say what you think the band name is.
Sir
Okay?
David Cope.
So first one for you tonight is if Benjamin Haggerty covered the 12th best-selling album of all time, what would he call himself?
I don't know either of
I don't
those
know-
things.
I don't know.
I think I know who that is because you used that in the shots episode where we played trivia. I think I know who the artist is, but I don't know what the 12th best-selling. You're talking about the 12th best-selling album of all time?
Of all time.
We're talking Sunday morning crossword puzzle right now for me.
So
Yeah, I mean, can you just tell us
the 12th best-selling album of all time is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, and he would call himself Fleetwood Macklemore
see if I
because
okay.
Benjamin Haggerty is Macklemore, and he would call
That's a
himself
lot. See, that's a lot.
Fleetwood
That's-
Macklemore.
Not even one iota of that did I understand.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on then. Now that we've got our examples, let's get into the game.
Oh, we're doing it and fired
Right
up.
now?
Right now.
All
Yep.
right,
Ready?
go.
Here we
man.
go.
If an EDM duo covered 90s Seattle grunge, what would they call themselves?
Oh. I think I know the duo.
Who's the duo?
Will it ruin it for everybody if I say what I think?
No, can we collaborate?
Sure.
Is it Daft Punk?
No. Time's up. They would call themselves Alice in Chainsmokers.
Oh,
Oh.
all right.
I see why this is fun, though.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for Ryan. Not for Ryan.
An EDM duo. There's an EDM duo that calls themselves Chainsmokers.
He's never heard of that. Neither have I.
And Alice in Chains is a 90s alternative Seattle grunge band. Alice in Chainsmokers. Next one.
All right.
If a death metal band covered late 80s, early 90s British pop rock.
The pool from which we have to dig through
yeah. We don't
to
have.
get to
time.
that is so vast.
Yes. Vague plus vague
Yeah.
equals vague squared.
Time's up.
Can you just give us
They would call themselves Fine Young Cannibal Corpse.
just give us one of the answers, and then at least like that'll save us
No.
half the trouble.
This is my game.
only you are winning.
Okay.
The rest of us
You
are
are
losing.
Jason
Next
is
up.
definitely winning.
I want to get one so bad.
If a
Let's
German industrial metal band
Okay.
covered 80s English pop.
Duramstein.
Oh, close. Time's up. Banana Ramstein.
I was
that
halfway
was
there.
Hey, Ronstein was in there
Banana.
for me too.
What is
But
banana?
Bananarama?
Oh, never heard. No.
Never heard of Bananarama?
No. I was
Yikes.
born in '88.
Get with it, man.
I know. All right.
Oops.
Up next.
You've never heard of Banana Ramstein?
If a white rapper from Detroit
Oh.
here we
covered college rock songs from the 80s,
Oh.
you have to say your name.
Sean.
Go ahead.
R.E. Eminem.
There you go. You got it. You got it.
Let's
You got it.
Genuinely impressive.
That is awesome.
All
that
right.
was incredible.
I got
got
one.
one.
I got one left for you guys. See if you guys can get
That's
it.
got to
One
be the
left.
pinnacle.
That's
Look,
pretty
I
damn
gotta
good.
hear the
I got
rest of it.
one
I
left
gotta
for
hear
you. Ready? If a band of 3 young brothers
Okay.
covered goth metal from the 90s.
Marilyn Hanson brothers.
There you go.
Let's
Marilyn
go.
Hanson is correct.
That
Let's
was
go.
fire.
Marilyn Hanson.
See,
good.
I told you it was
You
fun.
gotta give us
Oh, I
the
forgot
easy
to buzz
one,
in.
Jay. You gotta
Damn
give
it.
us the easy one.
That's okay. That was my game that I invented for you guys.
That was
That
awesome.
was good. I'm glad we got some.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does
I'm gonna,
change.
I'm gonna do more of them for you.
Do more,
as
but
they
give
come
us
to me.
just lob us little softballs.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I made sure there was
The
5. There were
first
some
3 were
hard
tough.
ones and some easy ones.
You were throwing 96 mile an hour 4-seam fastballs at us, bro.
Yes.
But this is what is in my brain 24/7. This is if you
Welcome to
listeners
Jason's
just saw a
brain.
glimpse of what happens in my brain when I'm stuck in traffic on 355. This is what I'm thinking.
It's a
of
great
constantly.
survival strategy though, because
I really love
sitting
it.
in traffic will
Keeps you going.
kill you.
Yep.
Like mentally, it just degrades you. You have to have something like that to survive regular, like
Life.
exposure to traffic every
Yeah.
day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think about that, and I think about whether or not time travel is possible. Those are the 2 things that my brain goes to when I'm sitting in traffic.
Ghosts and aliens are these
Yep.
also?
Oh, they're in
regular?
there too. Don't you worry. Yeah.
You know, that's very on brand.
That was my fired up. So does anybody else have one?
Mr. Cope,
Yeah,
Sir David Cope.
there it is.
Sir
Thank you.
David.
I am fired up because I recently met a girl. And
Hey.
yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
I wish listeners could see you're like levitating.
You look like the bunny
little
from
hearts in your
Bambi
eyes.
right now.
All right, all right.
Jason,
all
grab,
right,
Jason,
all
grab
right.
him.
She might
Grab him.
listen to this. Calm down. All
Burp,
right.
Charlie, burp.
No, we actually just went on our third date together.
Damn.
She is a disc golfer.
Big points.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Careful.
We actually met on Facebook dating.
Oh, I thought you were going to say we met on
Um,
hole
Wait,
7.
is Facebook dating a thing?
Facebook has its own dating site, which I didn't know about until recently.
Did
and
not know
what I
about that.
did, so for all of you male listeners out there who are looking for a female disc golfer, you go to Facebook dating and you put your only thing that you're interested in as disc golf. And then you wait, and the only things that they literally match you up with, because your common like interest is anybody who has disc golf in their profile. And I was like, I'm not like a dating app thing, but my buddy was telling me about it. So I'm like, okay, maybe. And yeah, we went out and we met. And first date, we went to West Park. And
Well done.
West Park is for lovers.
you know,
take
I mean,
it back to where it all began.
correct.
Mhm.
And then
Yes,
you know,
sir.
hole 2, if you don't know,
That is
it's
where I fell in love with
what
the
a-
sport.
What a gem, isn't it?
What?
And then just on our third date the other day, we went to Anna Page.
Whoa, okay.
Ooh, it's getting
Dude.
serious.
Correct.
Correct,
Yeah, it's getting
correct,
serious.
correct.
Damn.
It's all been disc
I know
golf
that.
and food and whatever. And we went to Anna Page. We played the South Course. Hole
Ooh.
number 4. I'm staring at you because do you know hole 4 at the South
I
Course?
don't. I was just
We've-
up there, but I vended.
We've
All right.
played
I
it, but
didn't
it was
play.
when it was first going in.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing, Sean. The reason I looked at you is because it is an elevated basket. And we've I've had a lot of people tell me about you talking about elevated baskets since you brought it up. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But the fired up is she actually, it's like 100 and maybe 90 feet or maybe a little bit more than that. She stepped up. She's never thrown an ace a day in her life, and she smashed chains on the upper one, and she
Dude.
aced it.
That was
Hell
fueled by
yeah.
love.
It was, and you know, so the moment there between the two of us was like
It's real.
Bonded.
things have gotten I mean,
Yeah.
we're pretty much destined to be together
I
forever.
mean, you
and honestly,
rounded third base on that A.
you know what I'm saying? And the beauty, if this doesn't age well, Ryan, you can definitely cut that out. But no, I think we should. Disc golf, to have somebody that's that close to you, like it was absolutely beautiful.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, her beauty is beyond compare. She's got flaming locks of auburn hair. She's got ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Jolene.
You.
You did it. You've come on.
Oh my
That was
God.
a really fast Jolene, dude. I was hook, line, and sinker again.
got me
Again,
so
I was
good.
I
Cheers.
saw your girlfriend in my mind, dude.
Yeah, cheers. I love you all. I actually didn't listen to the podcast up until a couple of weeks ago, and I was turned on to the Jolene skit, and I seriously,
Wait, is there a girlfriend?
No, I'm single. There's no girl. I did recently play Anna Page. Hole 4 is an elevated basket. I figured I could draw you in and get you all syncered up in the. But no,
Wow.
there's no girl. The Facebook dating thing did work for me once, so guys, try it out if that's what you're into.
Oh my
But
God, dude.
you know, we're not together now, so how good is
I
Facebook
didn't
dating?
think it could be done better than Strauss had did it.
I was so happy for you.
Yeah.
I was like picking out a tux
I was like, you're
for your
writing
wedding,
poetry for
dude.
this
Yeah,
woman.
thank you.
I was,
Yeah.
When the
I,
rhyming started, I was like, "Where's it coming from?" Oh, I know where it's coming from. Here we go. Let's go.
So
You're
Wow.
doing it, Peter.
Wow.
Dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't.
Hall of
You
Fame
are
shit.
good at that, sir. You are very good at that, sir.
Yeah, that was
I can't.
Hall of Fame shit.
I
Thank
can't.
Oh my
Nicely
God.
done.
I'm sad that there's not that this woman doesn't exist.
no,
Yeah.
you know, it's okay. I do. You know, I'm a happy guy. I don't disc golf, pink drinks, and a little cannabis keeps me right where I need to be. I don't need all that extra attention. I love it, but I'm okay.
I saw when she aced, dude.
Right.
What the
Come on.
It's like I
Well,
saw you guys
she
hugging.
aced the
I
hole.
really wanted to transition into me yelling at you about elevated baskets somehow, and then I was like, "Holy, come on, this might be my transition."
Yeah.
Because the other day, a couple of my buddies, we were out on the course, and they were like, "You haven't heard their podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've listened to like a few," and they're like, "Gee, we got to put it on right now." So then he's like, "You haven't even heard the Jolene skit?" I'm like, Rafa showed it to me back in the day. I had no clue what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And then I re-listened to it and I was like, that was pretty awesome. I mean, I'm going to see if I got anything in my tool bag, and that's where it
Jason,
went.
look what you've started.
Oh boy.
Thank you,
Damn.
Jason.
You've started what's maybe for a lot of people their favorite thing that's ever happened in the show.
What you've done is made me not trust another thing anyone says.
I already didn't.
We're gonna start having guests on the show now.
Yeah.
And I just listened to the Mike episode, and I was like, people are doing it? I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, all right. What do I say? I literally went to lunch by myself. I'm dead ass. I was 3 hours ago sitting at lunch having a chorizo omelet, which I often do. And chorizo's fire, my favorite thing. But I was eating this chorizo omelet by myself, and I'm like, how do I get there? How do I deliver it? I'm like, everybody had something to do with like leaning over and just banging Joe in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'll lead into it a different way.
All the props.
Holy shit,
all the props
dude.
in the universe. Well
Wow.
done.
Wow.
Wow.
Still reeling. Still reeling
Yeah.
from that.
So we just wrap it up.
I'm gonna.
Thanks,
That's it.
thanks for listening, guys.
Honestly, I think I
Keep
told
it on
you
the
guys
fairway.
earlier. That was it earlier. I was
Mother
like,
of God.
oh my God. I'm like, these guys are inviting me onto this podcast. Like, they've had Paul Macbeth on here. Like, who am I to be in the same? And like, I honestly,
It's
since
not
I have
Sir Paul Macbeth though.
No, it sure isn't. Yeah,
touche.
right.
Honestly, and not to tug y'all because I'm sitting next to y'all, but very much so. Since I've started listening to the podcast, I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think you guys, I love your voices. Actually, it's the truth. Like, it's weird maybe to say that because I'm sitting next to you, but like when you hear your voice from a distance, it's nice to be able to like, especially, sorry to everybody else here, Sean, because I know him so well, Ryan, because I know him so well, to correlate their voices to the subjects at hand. It's super cool to like listening to you guys doing your thing. And like, I've actually been hooked since I started listening. Like, it's actually pretty much all I listen to now.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm not even tugging.
What's happening?
Because here, check this out. So I've been listening at 1.5 speed because I wanted to catch up. I was like, there's 80 episodes. I'm so far behind. So I'm like, and I'm listening to some of the highlights. I'm calling my friends. I'm like, which one's the highlights? Where does he sing Jolene? I called Roth the other day. I'm like, where does he sing Jolene, Roth? You got to tell me, man. And he was like, I don't know. I guess I can find it for you. I'm like, you better hurry up. I don't got that long, you know? So like, and honestly, I've been listening at 1.5 speed. And then when I got here and started talking to y'all, I'm like, come on, talk
so
real
slow.
slow, man. Now I feel like I'm talking too fast, but it's the pink drink. It gets me all juiced up.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
My cheeks hurt.
What a roller coaster.
My cheeks hurt.
I did not expect. I was very excited for this conversation. I thought it was going to be informative and cool. I did not expect to laugh or have as much fun right out of the gate. Wow, well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
I had it fired up, but I don't even care.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to talk about me with a chainsaw. That's not anywhere near as cool as what you just did.
I'm throwing mine out too.
Here, dog.
I'm throwing mine out too.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yep.
I feel like I am obligated because
Yeah, you have to.
the Tournament Director Team Challenge was this
TDTC.
Heard of it.
the
Heard of it.
GJTS TDTC was this past weekend, and one team emerged victorious, and it happened to be fucking red team.
Let's
That's
go.
right.
this
Yeah,
year.
boy.
So there were a total of 1,152 total match points available throughout the first round of 24 holes and 96 people. The teams came in, once we were all done tallying scores, they were all within 11 points. So it was almost as close as it possibly could have been. It was unbelievable.
A lot closer than last year.
Way closer. Yeah, it was crazy. And then Sean took the top score in the first round, and I was a couple points behind, and then 1 point behind me was Doc. So if you think about it, one missed putt or
Yeah.
one shanked drive, or
Ooh.
would have turned that on its head. So
Would have been a playoff.
it would have been a total
Oh,
playoff. Yeah.
God. I really thought it was going to come to
I
a playoff
know.
on Sunday.
So Sean and I our teams played the second round of 18, and I was only ahead by like 6 points.
Yeah.
It was so close, but it was amazing. My team was awesome. I can't say enough good things about them. Everybody had incredible vibes. The whole day was awesome. Even though the weather turned kind of to shit, nobody really
despite-
cared,
Yeah.
and it was a
Fire
great time.
barrels. I mean,
Yeah.
Al Hermosillo is good for one thing, and that's making a good fire barrel over Trinity.
That man knows his way around a fire
So
barrel.
we were all huddled around that. But yeah, it was fantastic. I'm stoked that they didn't push me to jump in the pond like they all wanted me to.
You chugged that beer though, dude.
I chugged a lot of
I
beer.
couldn't believe it.
That was at least one full beer
Yes.
out of that. They poured 3 beers and change into the giant cup trophy that I won.
Nice.
And I had no choice. So
Yeah.
we chugged the beer. I can't say enough good things about our team. It was awesome. So yeah,
Congrats,
And I'm gonna
Yeah,
also
man.
I'm gonna shout out Lauren Lakeberg and also Doc, of course.
Yeah.
The videos that they put together for
Oh
that
my
event
gosh. Yeah.
were so perfectly unique from each other. Lauren does a really good job of just catching all the vibes throughout the day, and she definitely did that. And Doc's action is incredible. So
Mhm.
it's awesome.
He
that
was
we
out
have
there
that.
both rounds all day.
all day freezing his ass off.
Freezing his balls off, just
Wait,
getting all
Doc
that
didn't
footage.
even play?
No, we
No,
didn't
none
play.
of us play.
Oh, I
The
didn't
captains
realize
don't
that.
play. Unless it goes to a tie of
And then
points, and
overtime?
then the captains
That's why you were
are
like
the ones that have
hoping.
to do. Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, that's so
the
sick.
playoff.
That's
I was
fun.
calling it a playoff.
But we were so cold just standing there that I was like, please don't tie.
yeah.
Please no ties. I
go
don't
right
want to
in
get
the
my
pond.
bag out. Yeah.
Speaking of Lauren Lakeberg, I listened to the Warehouse podcast a little bit
I
on the
have
way
not
over here.
listened yet.
God, she's so cool.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject, Sean, I think you're the one who put it in the group chat.
Yeah.
There's another disc golf podcast out there that I genuinely want to recommend.
Mhm.
I have listened to lots of others. There's things to like about all of them, but I don't continue to listen to any of them. I am now a fan of the Warehouse Disc Golf podcast.
Yes, Warehouse Life.
Oh, Warehouse Life. That's what
Warehouse
it's called.
Life. Yes,
So good.
it is 3 or 4 employees of DGU
Mm-hmm.
on the East Coast. Like you were saying, when it comes to disc golf podcasts, I like what we do. But
Mhm.
no one else, at least from my research thus far, had really been doing anything like that until I landed on this. And I was like, oh shit, does anybody know about this yet? And then I realized they've got a bunch of episodes and they've been doing it since 2021. But man,
Yeah.
is it cool. And it's
They've got
just
35.
like our stuff where they're just kind of wanting up each other on making each other laugh about being human and
Whatever.
being
Yeah,
alive and
yeah.
just,
I
the
listened to a couple. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
They're good.
it's cool.
It's a
I like
great
it. Dig
vibe.
it.
Listeners, if you like the show, check it out.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
Warehouse Life.
Warehouse Life.
And yeah, Lauren was a guest on their most recent
Yeah,
episode,
yes.
and she was awesome.
I
really,
just
really
I need to
awesome.
listen. I need to listen.
Check it
Just
out.
listen to the Lauren Lakeberg first episode I think you guys had.
Mhm.
Oh, or maybe it was season 3. Amazing. What a wonderful human. I don't know her
Yeah.
at all, but listening to her was like inspiring me, to be honest. I was like, I am messing up my life. I need to get on it. You know, it was cool. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
I
Yeah.
get that feeling a lot when I think about
I love
Lauren
how
or
like
I
when
listen to
she,
Lauren.
I'm gonna fangirl over her for a second, but like when she is passionate about something,
Mhm.
her cadence gets so matter of fact.
Yes.
You buy into it immediately.
Yeah.
You
Well,
feel
and
like
there's-
an idiot for
very
not
genuine.
knowing
And
it
there's
prior.
there's
Yeah.
a tear in her
Yeah,
eye too when
she
she's talking
tears
about
up.
it, and you're like,
She's got a little bit
Lord,
of the
Yeah.
shaky voice
stop.
because she gets
Yeah.
so intense about it.
It's
It's
the
just
best.
like, I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. Whatever.
What are we doing?
We'll fix it
Yeah.
right now for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It works.
such a good call.
She's
out.
great.
I just finished the show Shrinking on Apple Plus. Watch it. Best show of all time.
Best show
All
of all
time.
time.
Especially if you're
Easy.
grieving
Oh,
or if
yeah.
you've had any kind of hardship. It is a show that really explores the human condition and like helps you grow. And like if you've never done therapy, it's a somewhat realistic like view of what therapy should be like. Maybe it's not like that for everybody, but man, it's hilarious. It keeps me on the knife's edge the whole time between like about to cry but also about to laugh. So if you like, what is the Ricky Gervais show? Life or Afterlife?
Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Yep.
Oh,
Similar
oh.
vein, but more
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So
Sheila and I
smart.
watched the first couple of episodes, but for some reason our Apple app was always screwing up and it would just like pause, and we got so frustrated that we just got rid of the app. But
Go back to it, man. The way
I
it
know,
ends.
I know. We want to finish it so bad.
Yeah, highly recommended.
Right
That's
on.
it. I wasn't going to, but I had to get it out. All right, that was a long fired up.
Those are only fired up. It's all right.
Let's keep the show moving. It's time to get to the old Callahallander rundown.
You know what it is. The Callahallander Rundown, the late spring 2023 edition, second half of April and all of May and a little bit of June this time. I threw in some extra stuff here. Kicking it off, we've got Delwood and Trinity bag tags going on. Delwood's happening on Saturday mornings. Sign-ups at 10, tee off at 11, 15 to play, 10 for a tag. DDG bag tags will be run through the end of May and stop for June, July, and August. Trinity Links bag tags are back for Sundays, 15 for a tag and 10 to play. This is your opportunity to play Trinity Links because it is technically closed. So get your ass over there.
Technically.
Sore subject. Moving on, Workforce Brewing Open 5. The event has been live for a week now. We do still have some spots. I think there might be some people that are realizing that it is also Mother's Day weekend.
Classic mistake.
So make sure that your Mother's Day plans are figured out before you get signed up for Workforce Brewing Open 5 on discgolfscene.com. Moving on. The 19th New Lenox Open. This is super fun. Bringing this one back. I believe it's been on a 20-year hiatus, something like that. Pretty crazy. Back in the day, Gary Lewis ran this event with a completely different park and a completely different layout. Everything was different. It is now redesigned, as you know. This is an AM-only event that will feature tee time blocks with shotgun starts. Let me explain. There are 4 different tee time blocks, as I'm going to call them. Each one of them will have 5 people on each one of the 9 fairways. So there will be 45 people times 4. I believe that comes out to 180 people, all amateur players. It will make sense once you read it on discgolfscene.com about 10 times and I email it to you about 12 times. I promise it all makes sense and I have all figured it out. It will be super fun. The event registration goes live on Friday, May 19th at 7 p.m. Make sure to set up both a Disc Golf Scene and UDisc account if you don't already have them to stay up to date on these events and plenty of others. Make sure to also go to Delwood Disc Golf and get on the email list so you can stay up to date on all these things that are happening. Sheila has been putting a ton of stuff on our website and updating it constantly and doing email blasts. It's incredible. It is one of the best ways to stay up to date on these things if you don't use socials. So get on that. And all of this unofficially brought to you by
discgolfscene.com. Come on, Mike.
Come on, Pete. What are you doing?
Perfect. God damn it, you're a professional. Professional guest.
You really have been listening. Wow. You
I
have.
feel good. Jason and Patrick are 2 amazing humans. And when I heard that, I mean, I love Jason Allen like you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He's such a good guy. I've thrown a decent amount of rounds with him.
Does he draw pictures of you in his notebook?
I hope so.
Yeah.
God, do I hope so.
Said it so wistfully.
Yeah.
Really
I do
believe
too,
that.
though. Like, I feel you. I want to be in that notebook.
He was the last person to ace our elevated basket, hole 9. He
yes.
took a good solid, probably 1700
Yeah.
or
Ooh,
something
yeah.
of that nature.
When was
When
that?
was that? Last
year?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're sitting at a smooth 17 now.
Damn.
Wow.
I know you got a lot of listeners. Calm down, y'all. Don't come take my spot. But no, you're good. Yeah, anybody that comes out, we're out there Sunday morning, 9 a.m. always.
Hell yeah.
Please.
Hell yeah.
While we're on the subject of your leagues, are there any other events that you guys have coming up that we can kind of tack on to the end of the
Yes.
Callahallander rundown?
Please.
I don't have anything big, event-wise.
Okay.
We are waiting. I believe this year's iOS will be a B tier at our place. I don't know that matters.
Nice.
We have,
Nice.
as a club, decided to donate the funds to make it a B tier. Yeah, that's really it. We don't have a ton going on out there. Monday night doubles is a thing. I think 5 to 5:30 is like end of sign up. Random draw doubles. Tyler runs a pretty cool show out there. It's typically a good 30, 40 people, I would imagine.
Hell yeah.
Is that where you can take a crack at this major ace pot, or which
no,
league is that?
That's Sunday mornings,
Sunday
9
mornings.
a.m.
Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Do you do that all year?
It
or-
doesn't. Yeah. So long as the weather's not trash. I
Yeah.
live so close that and it's my going to church, right? Like
Yeah.
So I have to be there. It doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
I hate playing in bad weather unless it's Sunday 9 a.m. then I kind of am like, if a few other people show up,
Totally. Church, I mean.
yeah. So no, it's all year. Tags come out once we get done making them.
Every year your tags are great.
Thank you.
I love that you guys go a little bit farther than everybody else, myself included. So very cool.
Yeah, it's when I got gifted the league, I think 5-6 years ago. Tim Jones was like, "Hey man, you want to do it?" And I was like, He's like, "I think it'll crumble if you don't." I'm like, "Jeez, I guess."
Come on. No pressure.
I mean, like, thanks for putting that on me, you know. But I was like, you know what? I love the community. So many good guys. Ended up going out there, and he was like, "Oh yeah." So I had no clue. Zero clue what I was getting myself into. He's like, "Oh yeah, you'll have to make some tags or something." I don't really know. And then it was like October when he's handing the box off to me, right? He's moving. I'm like, "Oh, okay, so when do I got to do that?" He's like, beginning of the year sometime, no problem. I'm like, holy God, I don't even know. So I started talking around a couple of local guys, and 5 years going, we stress out just about every October. We're like, what should we do this year? This guy's got to be as cool as last year.
That's what we do before every tournament.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Do you have the CTP stuff?
The dry gets so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dry is very well.
And then the first group shows up and you got it all figured out. You know what you're doing and people trust you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And if everybody's like freaking out, it's okay. It's easy to calm people down for the most part,
Before we totally get away from the rundown, I'm going to mention the Chi-Town Showdown 3.
Yes. Nice.
June 3rd, Saturday at the Oaks. It's a match play tournament, one-on-one. Very cool format. If you like the tournament director team challenge, you'll probably enjoy this kind of thing as well. Discgolfscene.com. Come on, Pete. Get signed up. Winners are going to bring home authentic wrestling championship belts or boxing championship belts, however you want to look at it.
There you go.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Cool.
That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let's take a break and we'll be back shortly.
Buzz, 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 buzz.
It's the Doc here on 97.7 The Buzz, WBZZ Lockport. Hell yeah. And remember, if you don't cough, you don't get off. You're listening to
97.7
FM 97.7
Buzz, buzz.
And we're back.
All right.
It is time for the nuts and bolts of this episode. We're going to start by covering all things about your club.
Yes.
I want to start with calling out something that is a big deal to me. It's your logo.
Yeah.
I've heard other people say it is the best logo. You've said it's the best logo in disc golf.
Solid.
It is so cool. And it, like I said, it meant a lot to me because I thought I had the best logo in disc golf. And since I've seen yours, I'm like, come on.
Shout out Mike D.
I'm Mike D and I get respect. Your cash and your jewelry is what I expect.
The logo is fine. It's fine. But that sweatshirt is fire. Sexy. Ballin'.
Yeah.
That
No, it
orange-
is. I actually, when he presented to me, Mike said, "Hey, he's like, we look like our club logo was drawn by a child with a crayon." I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, and it did. It looked
Yeah.
so
I printed
bad.
it,
It was like
some shirts with that old logo, and that was rough.
Oh God, it was rough.
Yeah.
And like he was like, I've made a few logos in my day. Got this idea. What do you think? And I was like, shoot me an idea. And I'm like, I'm open to everything, whatever. The second I saw this thing, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it develops. The more you look at it, the more you see. And
Yeah.
like, honestly, I mean, like, you got the little disc going into the basket.
Oh my God, I've never
actually.
seen that before.
You have the eagle inside the fox. We got the river running behind it.
Bro.
The logo hits, and it kind of embodies that Eagle Ridge, Fox Valley Metro disc golf, the fox and the eagle, and whole nine.
It's got the elevated basket on
Love
there.
the elevated basket. It's the most beautiful basket in the whole game of all disc golf sports. Okay, listen, wouldn't be frisbee for golf if it wasn't for elevated baskets. No,
Frisbee for all.
Liz, we had a picture. There's one out there of like an eagle on top of the thing too, and like just to be able to put it all together. What a stellar thing. Mike
Yeah.
D, you're the man. Hope
Yeah.
you're listening.
Yeah.
We love
That's
you, bud.
Mido, yes? Mike
Mike
Damashevitz? Damashevitz?
Yeah,
we'll
I
go
didn't
with-
want to do it because I should probably be the one to be able to pronounce it, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's
I
all right.
think
He's a
that's-
great
We all
guy.
know
That's why I
who
call
that
him Mike
is.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible guy. This club has like reached out into some places, and we've now met some people, and like just like this
Yeah.
disc golf community is the most beautiful place to be. You run into some of the coolest people, and then you find out some of their skills, and like there's no trade in the world that we don't know somebody who does it, right?
Right.
There-
Sure,
anything
totally.
that we need done, we're like, hey, I know that guy. I play with him on Sunday. We'll call him up, and
Yep.
he'll come out and he'll fix it, and I can trade him plastic, and and greatest community. And Mike D, again, another gift to us. Thank you.
Fun
Mike.
fact. So there is a Facebook group that is called Private Disc Golf Course Owners with Cats. Okay. I believe it was started by David Garb. And
That sounds
there's
accurate.
only, I think, 4 members in this Facebook group.
I was going
and
to say,
it
were there
is
10 people?
Garb, Stilson, Mike D,
yep.
and us. So anytime, and it's just us. And anytime we do anything on at our homes, on our courses, we post about it, and we just nerd out to the 4 of us about what we
Aw.
did, and it's super cute.
That's great.
I
That's
wonder
so
if
sweet.
Shout out to
Kevin, I was just telling you, Kevin Presbury out there by us has his home course. I don't know if he's got any cats. I'll
Can
make
have-
him join your
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
Sounds like a
Well-
pretty sweet club to be a part of.
Yes, yes, yes.
Great names in there.
Shout out to a logo design that I think will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
It's such a thing where disc golf clubs of the past just didn't have like access to a graphic designer was a little more rare 10 years ago. Now everybody can get their hands on something really cool. So making that evolution, I can still see 20 years from now, people will still be rocking that logo.
Yeah, 100%.
And they're gonna go, dude. Do you see the eagle inside of the box, bro?
Yeah.
Dude, there's a disc going into the basket, man. I never saw it.
It's like a historic club, no? I mean, how long has it been around, you know?
Way longer than me. I've been throwing for a long time, but senior and here's what stinks is because I don't know the absolute roots of it,
The
right?
origin,
I know some of the main players in it, but as far as, the actually who were the first 2-3 people that got out there, I know some of the Esquivals, if y'all know them. They're amazing disc golfing family. They had something to do with it. I know the Sheps were out there. I know.
Miss the Sheps, man. Blaine.
I-
God, I
wow.
miss that dude.
I spoke with him. Oh, he's such what a lovely human.
Yes.
He reached out to me the other day when Frank passed, which is horrible. And I think the whole community is kind of figuring out how to deal with that. I feel horrible because I wasn't as close to Frank. I knew of, but I know that he was an instrumental part in like our tee pads being put in. He was the one who elevated the basket on 9.
Wow.
He put the stairs around it. He got us all the benches out there that we have on the course. Yeah, when I heard about it, Blaine reached out to me. I've had a couple of people in the club reach out, and he says, man, he's like, that dude did a lot for us, and like, just I appreciate you kind of taking the next leg and keeping it going. So our park district, Oswego Land Park District, shout out Levi and Cody, the 2 guys that have been putting in a ton of work for us. They have done an absolute ton of work. They've been super on board with us trying to do some commemorative stuff for Frank and
Very
some
cool.
of the community.
Very, yeah.
Right, right. New baskets. Can we talk about it?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Can
yes,
I mean?
please.
Because I'm pumped. The Oswego Land Park District last year, I'd started speaking to them. We knew that we wanted to get new baskets. We had the old Mach 3s in there.
Yeah. you
Beautiful
sure did.
baskets. I love them things. I
You
still
sure
to this
did.
day. There's still something about putting on Mach 3s because I did it for so long that feels more like that's what a basket's
That's
supposed
disc
to be.
golf.
Yeah.
Where when I come out and I play on Mach X's, sometimes I'm like, oh, you're supposed to fall in on the weak side, man. Like, don't, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, I know it's my skill, but I went to the park district and I said, please, like, let's update equipment a little bit. I think it'll last a little longer. We had intentions of doing Mach X's. I love the baskets, but I don't think it fits our feel, right? Like, I love
agree.
how Trinity hits with those Mach X's, right? Like that.
Sevens. They have sevens.
Or
Mach
sevens.
Yeah.
I have
Different.
sevens also.
Yes.
Or we have. We
Yes.
do. I'm not. We have sevens also, and I loved how those sevens were looking over there, and I was like, this kind of looks more laid back disc golfy and not
Mhm.
so professional, super cleaned up, whatever. And
They-
I like that vibe.
The Mach
for
X's
us.
look big.
They do.
They
And
look bigger.
It looks like
they-
a wall of chains.
They look
Yeah.
professional. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
honestly, when I play at Delwood, I'm like, Jesus, it's just like you can throw those things from a mile away and they catch everything. I feel like they're a little less forgiving, weak side because they got sturdy chains, but no, I love them. So when I went to the park district, they were super on board with the idea. I think as most park districts, see, I was so scared when I got the club. Everybody was like, park district. And I was like, okay, I'm scared now. Cody and Levi, thank you. Chad is also a big instrumental part in like the monetization part and kind of us making some bigger moves. But
That means money, Jason.
Oh,
Monetization.
got it.
Yeah, that means he's talking about money. but-
yeah, he's the guy that said yes, we'll agree to split the cost of baskets with you.
Cool.
And we had been raising funds for a year or two, and I had some great contributions from a bunch of local folks. A lot of the Fox Valley Metro disc golf group came together. You know, Josh Zinzer, I don't know if you guys know him. He does airmail, great kid. He donated a bunch. We had Drew Kehoe donated a bunch. Brian Lane donated a bunch. I mean, like, we're talking substantial $250, $500 contributions because people were ready to see the upgrade.
So awesome.
It's so cool to have the community come together. And like for me, I'm like partially selfish. I'm like, well, what do we do with club funds and what's the next step? And I was like, wait a minute, let's update our equipment. Let's give it back to at least where we can see something visible. And if it felt so good to finally have them commit to it and go, okay. And we did. We started talking last year or the year before COVID all hit. So before supply chain issues and before the big increase in prices and stuff, and we were going to buy X's, but once we ended up getting to the point where we were like, okay, commit, 7s were substantially cheaper. I had felt
That's the
differently
nice thing about
it,
them too.
and
Yeah,
they work. They're beautiful.
I love them. I think 7s are great.
They're the better Mach 3, right? Like I just told you, I love putting on Mach 3s. They're the better Mach 3. Love putting on them.
it's that slimmer look with the inner band that kind of creates that cylinder look that we see from a Mach 3. It's cool.
Yeah.
I got to get out there and see them.
Yeah, we
and win that ace pot.
Yeah, please. Whole 9. Elevated basket. Best contribution to disc golf since Delwood Disc Golf. All right. No, honestly, I love this game and I love that group and I will continue to try and, make it a better place for them. And I had this idea because when you buy new baskets, they send you new sleeves. I was like, well, let's see if these new baskets fit in the old place. And then if we do, then we can put these new sleeves in the ground and maybe throw at multiple locations.
Hell yeah.
And when I talked to the park district about it, they said, put a flag in the ground and tell me where. And I was like, it's not going to be that easy. So like we talked about it last year, end of the year, beginning of this year, they're like, did you put the flags in the ground? They reached out to me even. And I was like,
oh, that's amazing.
I don't
man.
even like,
holy cow.
I wasn't ready for this. Right. So I got a couple people from the club together. We went out and kind of saw what we had to play with. And park district came together. They called me. It was last Thursday. And we're like, hey, we think we're going to get out there. And then they called me again and went, well, we're not going to get out there today. So next week. And I'm like, God, you're building me up and dropping me. And like, they called me on Monday and they're like, hey, we could only do half of them. We're very sorry. I'm like, sorry about what? You did the thing already? I thought you would be like, come out and help us or something. Not a word. They did it without ever asking for anything. The kids that are today I was there and I think they planted another 75 trees today when they planted 50 of them yesterday. And
dude,
we had last year, right at the end of the year, they came through with about 150 trees. So we've had probably, literally 300 trees put into our property. They're not
it's been
big.
Too long.
They're all, but they're all like in that phase of like, we're going to build something better here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about the process. Like if you go to a course where you see that many saplings being planted, you become the guardian of the saplings.
100%.
It's important that everybody sees it through the process that we need to protect these things. This is not something that should be removed. It's something that should be planted all over the place. So cool.
Yeah. Levi's an arborist, which is the most beautiful thing because he literally comes through and he's like, that's invasive and that shouldn't be here. And he's whacking things. And like, for me, I'm like, no. But at the same time, when you're whacking something that is not supposed to be
Jason?
there. Yeah.
I'm trying to stay calm. Don't point it out when I was doing good.
Yeah, no, they've been really good at coming back and saying, I know that I cut some trees down and we're going to replace it. Like there's something more in the future, but
Sick.
Dude,
yeah,
that's incredible, man.
Yeah, we got a tight little property over there, and they're willing to do as much as we can, and I don't want anybody out there to get too excited, but I've heard talks of possibly buying the lot next to where we're at, and cool futuristic things. Like in the next 5 years, we could see some really, really, really cool things.
Man.
In the 3-year plan, they're talking about putting pavilions out on the course for us, so that while we're doing our thing in the it's super dope. They've been super on board, and I just wanted to shout out the park district because every horror story that I've ever heard in my entire life, that is not it. If you're out there and you're trying to get something done in your community and disc golf is something you're passionate about, I promise you those people that are the Levi's of the world, he doesn't make the monetary decisions, but he wants to be building parks. These guys want to be out there working instead of cutting grass all day because it's something that needs to be done. But these dudes ride mowers a lot, and they would rather be part of something, right? Like, because I want my
Those
kids
guys
to be
have
able...
a voice that they want to be heard too, because I deal with the same thing at Lockport. There's guys that work for the park district. They get me excited about stuff. They come up with ideas. They'll be like, oh, I was sitting over by this hole and I've got this vision. Adam Rona, shout out to Adam Rona at the Lockport Park District, comes to me and says, let's buy a bunch of pine trees and we can make the B pin on hole 10 look like Maple Hill hole 1. And I was like, well, let's go. Do you mean right now? We can go right now and start it. Like, so I feel you. And it's such an incredible thing. And I think it's a new thing with younger generations getting into those park districts, and they're used to their voices being heard. It's not just keep your head down and cut the grass and shut the fuck up.
Correct.
It's a little different now. So just incredible to hear that it's going like that for you.
I'm
really excited.
Grow the sport is happening.
Yeah.
Maybe too fast sometimes. I like the old pace of play sometimes. It was a little bit easier to get through courses, but it's beautiful at the same time. I'm not mad. Let's just build more courses. And, even in Oswego, we looked at every piece of land that they owned. I've walked out 3-4 other pieces of land where we're like, let's put some temp poles here, and like even in their bigger, just straight open fields for pretty straightforward, bring the family out type introduction to things. They've even talked about it. They've talked about putting them on on our golf course that's out there because that's park district owned too. So like, it's really cool to have a parks department that is fully on board with the growth. And
that doesn't just happen. You clearly the club has developed good relationships and has proven that you're doing the right things and that your opinions are to be trusted and all that stuff. That doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
On that note, you mentioned senior already. You mentioned Rafa and a bunch of other like integral members of FVMDGC. Did I get it right?
Nice. All right. Let's
It
go.
is on your sweatshirt, so don't give him too much.
I don't know why I didn't look. I looked up.
Yeah, he did look up. I'll give him that. I watched the whole thing.
But let's before we move on from Fox Valley, let's hear a little bit about some of those like other integral members. I think senior is somebody we have to talk about.
If you play disc golf locally and you don't know Senior, I'm sorry for you. He is literally one of the most amazing humans.
Can't forget him once you meet him.
Oh, man.
Even if you don't meet him, you can't forget him. He was like the first, like when I went to my first disc golf tournament, which was at Anna Page, and I saw him, I was like, what a interesting looking fellow.
100%. His
Big time.
big, white,
Same.
curly, he's got a smile past. If you know Senior personally, he goes through a bunch. We all go through a bunch, right? But on the surface and when he's around this community, he does a decent job most of the time to actually just show the pure passion of what this thing should be.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, like when I first went out to Fox Valley and had my first tags round, this is back when Tim Jones is running it, he would put random people on random cards. I'm a little bit more lax now. I like bring your friends out and play with your friends, right? Like it's casual that way, but Tim would put me on random cards. And like when you had to be on Senior's card, it was like, I don't know. And I know like he's more relaxed in his personal life too. And he does, he's more recreational in some of his habits, but like at the same time too, I felt so much respect for the guy that I was like, I'm going to be proper. I'm going to be really cool. And like, was intimidating to be around him. It was intimidating to be around Chris Bianchi for a long time. You know, we got Joe T that comes out there, Zach Montrose. And even then, like we have really good disc golfers too. I think every club really has their few good ones, but I mean, like Gavin was out there for a long time.
Yeah.
Mike Conley was out there for a long time, you know, and so, to be around Ian was out there, you know,
Ian
so
Burchett,
like we've had some absolute bangers of players. I gotta be the most blessed guy in the world when it comes to it. Like I kind of just fell in my lap, and to have the love that I've been showed since the beginning of kind of taking over or whatever, it's the coolest thing in the world. And you know, those guys at FVMDGC are they're amazing humans. I love all of them. And men and women. We've got some great females that have come out there for a long time too. Connie, I don't know if you guys know Connie Hadland, amazing human. Yep. Nikki's always fun to hang out with.
Oh yeah, Nikki's a hoot. Nikki's a hoot
and a half.
A hoot and a half.
Love the community. You know, best disc golf club locally. No offense to anybody else.
If you don't think that about your club, then what are you doing?
What are you doing?
We're not the most competitive, but I would tell you there's a lot of love in there, and I want every single person to feel like they're at home and that they're a part of something, because that's what I felt when I first went out there. That's what Senior made me feel. Tim Jones. I mean, and even as scared as I was to be on cards with these guys, at the end you're like, these are my heroes, man. Like, I can't wait to be Senior when I grow up. You know, I can't wait to be the guy who puts in the extra effort. I mean, that dude has put a lot of work into that course. The amount of buckthorn and weird, invasive, prickly stuff that used to attack you that doesn't anymore is like super cool. Again, my favorite course around, but it's because it's in my backyard. But it's just so
making me miss it so much.
Oh, I love the trek.
I love it out there, man.
And I think having the B pins and like just different looks at it is going to be super cool. We're bouncing baskets back and forth. Everybody's like, put the old ones in. We're just so small. There's so many you're hidden around the corner shots that I don't want to get people confused. And one basket at a time is how we're going to go for a while until we figure something else out.
That's smart.
How many did you put in? How many B pins?
Oh my goodness. 14-ish or so.
Wow.
I have 6 of them currently in that you can play. Some of them got easier, some of them got harder. I put a few OG pins, some of the stuff that was like what I remember when we were younger. I think we've got plans for maybe 4 or 5 more also. It just is requiring clearing trees. And I mean, the park district, I don't know if you guys remember hole 3, but it's kind of perched up on a hill. Yep. There's a big bunch of trees behind it. Yep. They were like, yeah, let's clear out a big spot back there. We'll put a basket down into the trees for you, but we have to make drainage first. I'm like, oh boy, like, you know, tempt me with a good time, you know? So I was like, whatever work you guys got to do, go on ahead. But so they were like, let us get to that. And, you know, so they're so on board, and it's just clearing out trees. Hole 5, they said they want to build down the hill there too, maybe even because we own it. So that's the one that's super on the hill that has the big drop off behind it. Yeah. And they said, you know, maybe let's build some stairs down it and put another basket out. So I was like, dope. Let's, you know.
One more thing I wanted to cover about FVVM DGC.
2 V's?
Very
Fox Very Valley? Voluptuous.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Fox Voluptuous Valley?
Yeah, baby. Before we get to your show, the Fox Valley Ice Bowl, is that still a thing?
Yeah. So Hayden Everton took it over this year. Everton. Yeah.
There's an N in there that always messes me up.
Katniss?
I would. Sorry, Hayden, if you're listening to this, I typically wouldn't do that for Hayden, but Katniss, yes.
I volunteer as tribute.
Hayden took it over this year, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. What I did in the past for that thing was there was a lot that went into it. A lot of, we were 5-6 months before we would start talking about it, and we would meet once a month. And then once we got closer to it, we'd meet every other week and make sure that everybody's on the same page and whatever. This kid calls me a month before, and he's like, hey, so, you know, I was just wondering if I could do the Ice Bowl thing. And I was like, yeah, when? He's like, oh, singing like in January. I'm like, buddy, you're past the having a full month to do this.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I was just wondering what I should do. I'm like, do what? He's like, oh, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm like, oh my God, you're coming to me now? You're so
remember
far
this,
behind this, bud. Like,
I feel like I was like in the middle between you guys, trying to assist the best that I could. And
thank you for all the assistance. And I didn't doubt that he had the skill to get it. He's a great kid. He's very social.
got a lot of heart.
You just know the
a lot of
workload.
passion.
Yep.
I was just like, holy cow, how are you going to get food taken care of, get the park district on board? Do we even get the building for that day? Because like if it's cold out, we have to be indoor. We can't have everybody outside. So like there's all these logistical parts that I was like scared of. So then like 2 weeks gets coming to me and he's like, hey, so what do I do talking to Mike? I'm like, you haven't talked to Mike yet, bud? I'm like, you were 2 weeks away. There's no way. I'm freaking out now. I'm like, oh my God, I'll help you however I can. But then I put my foot in my mouth. I'm like, I can't help that much. There's got to be a ton that's got. This kid came through as amazingly in a month. I think he ended up raising $3,800 or something for. Dude. We ended up giving it, I think, to the Fox Valley Food Pantry, who's been
FVFP.
And they have been. Oh, Kendall County is there. Kendall County Food Pantry. I don't even know. It's one of these food pantries.
How food pantries are.
I think we've ended up as a club, and I want to see this was our 14th or 15th thing. I believe the last tally I had was over $60,000 in 15 events that they've raised for. And a couple of them were like Tim Jones, I think his last year, was like 10K.
Yeah.
Or
I
something
remember
like that.
5 figures at one point.
Yeah.
I think the first year I took it over, I think we did like 8,500 or something like that. So like there was a lot of momentum for it. The raffle part of it's really cool, but a lot of the community gets behind it. We get a lot of donations from the local places, but again, I don't want to say all of it, but a lot of it used to ride on seniors' back. And like, that's the other thing too. Like when I talk to Hayden, I'm like, did you talk to Senior, man? Because like I used to like talk to him about everything. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I can't get a hold of him. I'm like, you're screwed. You're dead. Good luck with your event then, bud. And when he said, hey, can you help me out? It was just for the most minimal things. And we got it done. And a great event. I think it was like 40 degrees. We've had a great year for whatever, but it was like beautiful out and
amazing.
Great turnout. Great raffle put together again. I think we had. I don't know how much you donated.
I gave him a bunch of stuff. I mean, anytime you guys ever ask for anything, I'm always happy to help.
Sean has been unbelievably generous to our club over the times. One of the nicest guys in the area. I'm not saying that just to be here with him. He's been so great to the club for us. Yeah. But no, thank you, Sean. And
got you, dog.
Like I said, everybody coming together to make that a beautiful thing, and I'm happy to be part of.
Hell yeah!
Next year's Ice Bowl will be much better, though.
We're
going to take more time.
What was the reason that you weren't involved this time around? Or I mean, I know you were involved, but why weren't you leading it? I should say.
2 years ago, when COVID came about, Mike was like, "Let's wait that because of the too many people being next to each other." And I was like, it makes sense, right? Because our raffle is like one of the biggest parts of it.
Right.
And then when last year came about, everybody was like, it was still on that lingering edge of like, how do we deal with COVID? And that whole mess was still a thing. So like,
why?
Mike was like, let's maybe even pump the brakes one more time. All right, and we'll see. And then this year, like somebody asked me in December, or it was like November, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that that's what I should have been doing. And I didn't. I mean, like when I got handed the box for tags, I had no instruction. I literally didn't know where to take this thing or what to do. And for me, it's just been making sure that everybody had a place to come to, a community to be a part of. And every Sunday, I just show up because if it's the least of the contributions I can do is give my time for somebody else to feel a part of a group, like I'll absolutely be there. But now that things are developing, I'm like, oh, I could be doing some cool things here. Like we can help kind of maintain the chorus. We can help get some new progress going. So
just dive in and figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Right.
The best way.
That's a lot. And I think it's the right time for us to start talking about peace, love, and cope.
Sweet.
We're going to talk briefly about your show. We did talk a lot about medical cannabis at the start, so I want to talk more about the sort of the format of the show and just like what you're doing with it. And while we get into that, I'm going to take a little 5 milligram gummy.
Enjoy. I will be quick about this. The truth of it is, like, I have been just trying to build a community of like-minded people who are away from the bad names of cannabis, using the bad words, kind of just trying to build this idea that cannabis can be, it's not medical, it's not recreational. If we just understand cannabis as a science or a math, it's just that. It doesn't have to be more. We don't have to glorify it as anything, but it's super effective when it's used properly. My show has, I have a small community of beautiful people who consistently show up and have been unbelievable supports to me, and I love hanging out with them. So that is what it has become a lot.
The format, and I've only listened to like 15 minutes of it, is like what I saw was just you on the screen kind of scrolling through
I'm out.
like comments.
It's just you on the screen? No, I'm good.
Do you have a Jolene skit?
I haven't worked it into my main bit yet, but I'm going to try.
You got to cross promote.
Yeah, 100%.
And is the general idea that people are live asking you questions and you're answering them, or how does it work?
Correct. In the beginning, there was a lot more of it going on, and I think I was promoting it the right way. I've become very complacent in some of what I'm doing, but it's not because it's maybe a lack of confidence, but it's not because of the wrong reasons. I don't think it's because of the political trash that belongs and goes hand in hand with cannabis. I don't like being part of it. I wish that it would just evolve to the point where I could speak freely and not have to ginger through so many words. But I think that this plant is way cooler than people know. It's not just getting high on the weekends. It's not just an intoxicant, and it can be just that. But when it's used in the proper ways, for me to have seen, like I said, the reduction of seizure the way that I have, when I've seen, literally a lady that was using a walker, stop using a walker. I had a 95-year-old woman, and I know this for a fact because they had to rewrite Illinois' computer program because it said like nobody before 1925, and it was just some arbitrary number that they put in the thing, but like her card kept getting denied, and they were like, what the hell is going on? Like she works, I just don't know why. Well, in the code it said nobody before 1925, and she was born in like 1924 or something.
So dumb.
Yeah, and it ended up working out fine, whatever. She came in and she was like, I feel so good. She's like, my favorite thing I ever used to do was dance. She's like, I haven't danced in 20 plus years. I've been on opiates, narcotics, whatever. She's like, if you would please dance with me, like, I just want to share it with you. And like those moments like that.
Jolene.
Don't Jolene me. No. Don't Jolene me on that shit.
Yeah. When I talk about cannabis,
better exist.
No, when I talk about cannabis, I get pretty serious because like,
God damn,
it was those
dude.
things that made me, it's also too, it's like, I watched the glory stories with the cancer. I watched the people who were taking fistfuls of medication and telling me how zombie-like they felt. And not only telling me, but walking in. I literally had a lady one time who walked in, and she is part of the what is inflammation and fibromyalgia story. She was a lady. She had, I want to say it was 375 milligrams of fentanyl on her in patch form. I believe that when they do this thing, they allow a 100 milligram patch with a 25 milligram kicker for like, if you're really bad, right? And I think that's the absolute maximum. Now, my milligrammage might be off, and I do apologize if somebody hears me and it's whatever. But whatever it is, she had 3 times the limit that I knew at the point. And I was like, holy shit. When she told me it's not a joke, I literally reached out for her, like, you're going to die right now in front of me. Like, you can't do that. They do that 125 because they know the toxicology behind it. Mm-hmm. You've pushed that 3x. You're actually endangering yourself. And like, she literally was nodding out in conversation with me. For me, it was one of the more like, why is Western medicine going the way that it is? Why are so many of my friends and so many of my people that I know around me, even relatives, eating all of these pills, deteriorating at this rate that is gross to me? And not only that, like, you're a zombie. You're not cognizant of much of what you're going through.
Yeah.
And to watch these people take their health back in their own hands, that's like a big thing I like to say, like, through using cannabis. And for me, it was just like, well, yeah, here's the proper ways. Know your methods of ingestion, know what cannabinoids are, know what terpenes are, and there it is. And for me to see people kind of go, okay, I'll break down the walls. The word high did scare me before, whatever, and let me try this thing, and to get the results that they did, I was sold forever. I will try my best for the rest of my life to make sure that at least if there's only one person that needs the help, if they're looking for it, that I'm still there for them, right? Like I don't know that I've hit my mark, what I'm trying to do all the way, but I'm not like done at all, right? I will figure out a way to make sure that everybody understands cannabis as a science and as a math and just more simple than that. It's not, because again, there are glory stories, but at the same time, I watched way too many friends deteriorate in my face. And that was like the whole part for me too. I think why I'm out of the cannabis industry now, like I went through this big evolution of like, I got really close with a lot of people and then I'm watching them deteriorate because cancer or whatever it is. And like, it's super overwhelming.
Oh, wow.
It's gratifying in one respects because you're helping some, but you can't help everybody.
No, you're giving quality of life to so many people, but it's people who will really, really need it.
And
so
that was the whole thing to me. Like every day I thought, oh my man, I'm seeing the worst person, right? Like there's somebody else. You couldn't get worse. And then one day I met the pinnacle to me, which is still like in all of my interactions of human life. It was a younger kid, is great human. His name was Chris. He had 4 or 5 heart attacks, 3 or 4 strokes. Some of the physical things that he was dealing with, like it was just in your face, right? And for me, I'm like, God, I got everything, right? Like I got all my limbs. I've got this ability to play this beautiful game. And then you've got Chris here, who's got one of the best outlooks on anything. Like he would laugh and joke, very close to almost being nonverbal, but you could make out some of the stuff. And like once cannabis got introduced, and when I saw that progression with Chris, it was like, wait a minute, he is the worst case, but at the same time, like maybe I'm worse even than Chris is in some capacities because I complain about way too much. I take for granted all these things that I have. How do I get out of one person's face and get into everybody's face? Because as much as I want to help Chris in every instance of Chris that I ever see, how do we take it to the next level? Because we've all heard the cannabis thing. It's like, it's just corporate money. Everybody just wants, how do you make your money in cannabis? And there's a lot of money being made, not by any of the people working, right? So like, it's sad to see people with passion getting burnt out. I watched a lot of people who were relationships crumble and just giving their entire lives to an industry that would ultimately never give back to them.
Are you saying that bud tenders aren't really being taken care of for the most part?
Minimally.
What I think I know what a bud tender is, but I'm not. What does that mean?
I mean, you're like the front line of
you're front line,
right?
And
front line. Yeah.
This is the scary thing is like the standard across what a bud tender is nil, right? Like the state says you got to have 8 hours of ongoing education, but like, you could. I'm like, oh, I used to sign paperwork and be like, yeah, we all did the shit, like we talked about it. But there's not a standardization, but also too, it's like not everybody's doing this thing for the same reason. And I desperately want to be in the face of people who are trying to use this thing as a medicine. I hate even saying the word medicine, but who want to use it more for symptom relief, honestly, because it can be unbelievably impactful. And even then, glorious. Like I said, the cancer reduction and whatever. It's so cool to see. But again, it's not every time. I watch too many.
This is refreshing because I was just joking with Sean about asking, like, I told him, I was like, we're going to get in a fight. Dave and I are going to get in a fight. Sir David Cope. Because I was going to ask you a question to the effect of, like, why are so many people's identities based around the fact that they smoke weed? And we see that so often, especially, like, as much as we hate to say around disc golf, but there are people that we know that play disc golf that won't until they've smoked so much that they're basically stupid. And that's how they have to play, and that's how they have to live their life, and that's how that's how they survive, is based on what they've just smoked or what they're about to, or or what edible they're about to ingest, or to the point where it becomes their entire being. And what you have just said in the last couple of minutes is just blowing my mind, because why are people not seeing what you're talking about?
Yeah,
like, and I want to tack onto that because you're kind of talking about abuse, I think, and you're talking about use.
100%.
Does it piss you off at all when people?
Yes, very. Graham Dabbs, what are you doing? Why are you giving us such a bad name? But that's literally what all, okay, I talk wild. I say some wild things while I'm podcast or whatever I'm doing on there streaming. I say some wild things, but like some of the stuff I'm talking about actually has some scientific root to it. Like I'm referencing Raphael Mechoulam out of Israel, who is he's who mapped what the endocannabinoid system is, much like the endocrine system, which is a regulatory system that we use.
Mhm.
The endocannabinoid also is a regulatory system. I've heard somebody say that like endocannabinoid means that it's like, oh, all cannabis, it's like it might be a system that's played on with by more things than just cannabinoids. And it might be a downfall to it being called an endocannabinoid system because we're not checking all the other possibilities. But to have a regulatory system that's already going on and to just stimulate it, much like we use vitamins to stimulate our endocrine system, if we used cannabinoids to stimulate our endocannabinoid system, I think it's like, I hope to hear in my lifetime, legitimately, I want to hear the words essential cannabinoids, like we hear essential vitamins. I think that CBD at what it's capable of is just, it's unreal. It's a hidden key. It's not the only key that's there, but like, a lot of people underplay what CBD is capable of, but it's because it's not immediately impactful. We don't feel it immediately. There's not this like, oh, I'm so intoxicated. Like, give me more CBD. I want more of that. And we were talking about it a little bit earlier. It's that we're so dopamine sick nowadays, I'll call it, right? Like everybody is stimulated all the time. And the second you're not stimulated, you grab your phone and you stimulate yourself, or you start shopping on Amazon, or you even pick up the pipe, right? Like, and I think
Jason shows me all the time how stimulated he is constantly. I'm asking him not to, but he shows me.
I want to get in.
Never give me your phone number.
Yeah.
Let me get in on that message group. But
anyway, I'm sorry.
What the hell was I talking about? So that's also what cannabis is capable of.
Yeah.
It is very cool to hear
Yeah.
the medical and the scientific side of it and the real value that it's bringing to so many lives, and somebody who understands it so well. Also be annoyed by the stuff that I think annoys all of us. That thing that's like, it's not like, it could be cool, but you're making it not cool, and you're doing damage
100%
to something bigger than yourself.
100%. I think, again, I feel bad because I do believe that some people are using it as that dopamine thing. It's that dopamine replacement. And if you are purely seeking that intoxication, that's something, you can find it, but cannabis is like, it's like anything. You can do too much, right? And it doesn't take a lot, honestly, to do too much. You can overstimulate your system very quickly. And it's not, we talked about the digesting edibles thing. Like for some people, because of how it synthesizes through your liver, it's not, for some people, this is the truth. When cannabis synthesizes through your liver, we go through a process called hydroxy-11, or it transfers into a product called hydroxy-11, which is like 10 times more psychoactive. I threw up air quotes because everybody says it's more psychoactive. It's whatever. But it does really cause, especially edibles, because of how we're digesting through our liver, does cause that really powerful bang. And a lot of times I'm like, it's easy to sell somebody, eat cannabis, right? Like, it's like my mom would eat cannabis. She eats snacks and stuff. So it's like, okay, mom, you'll eat cannabis. Wouldn't smoke if her life depended on it. And it's not that it's not her, right? Like, but when I used to sit in front of people, I'd be like, hey, listen, I understand stigma, everything, but this is one of the most effective delivery systems because of how it breaks through the blood-brain barrier, because of how fast it is effective. We're talking about 1 to 5 minutes. It hits the lungs, goes through the entire bloodstream, and 5 minutes later, you know what's there. There's no more coming. I mean, might you get a little more of something? Maybe, but like I used to tell people, take one puff, wait 5 minutes, take one puff, wait 5 minutes, and like you'll get to the point where you're comfortable. It's just breaking down all the stigma of cannabis at this point and only taking those one puffs for comfort instead of, because there is something nice about smoking a whole blunt and, or taking a big fat dab or something to really give you that punch. But like on a long term, it's nothing. I hear too many of my friends go, oh, I don't even get high anymore. I'm
Unless
like,
it's
you're
a dab.
Idiot,
They're like, oh,
dude. Like, I love you. Stop. Just quit for 24 hours, quit for 48 hours, and you can come back.
They can't.
Yeah. But and is it addictive thing? I think anything that at this point is dopamine, which this thing does play in our receptors, like, 100% it can be addictive. And that's why using the smaller amounts, being very direct, especially if you're just using this as medicine, I hope that we can get to that point. Yeah.
Damn.
We've really covered it, man. I want to hear more, but we
We have to stay
Fascinating.
on the rails.
Stay on
right?
the rails.
Yeah.
Fascinating
okay.
stuff, though, dude.
It really
I
is.
could keep
Really
listening.
is.
So
Yeah.
if people want to listen to more of this, your YouTube channel is
Peace, love, and cope. We're I am on Mondays from 10 a.m. until noon, and Thursday nights 8 p.m. until when I'm done. Sometimes that's 1 o'clock in the morning. We play a lot of games on Thursday nights, even Disc Golf Valley every once in a while.
Cool.
Yeah, but please come and hang out if you have any questions ever, and you don't have to be on the live stream to ask me. I do have a Facebook group. It's private because of the cannabis thing, but please feel free to join.
you also have a Facebook page, though.
our Facebook page. Yep.
That's not private. I found that earlier today.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm cute on that one. Yeah.
That's just at David Cope, right?
Yes. And you're more than welcome. Reach out at any point. I'm more than happy to answer anything. If your grandma's got a question or your aunt has a question, or, you think maybe like my kid may benefit from this, there's some harder conversations that some people are scared to have. Please talk to me. I know a decent amount about this stuff. I feel very confident in my ability to point you down a very soft, gentle, entry level what is cannabis, and if you can deal with me saying the F word every once in a while,
You haven't even said it once on this episode, I don't think.
Yes, he has.
Ryan's got a counter going, a tally going. It's probably about 600.
I just do this.
I haven't heard it.
Is it the letter F or is it?
No,
a space
it's
bar?
Maybe I
M
was
for
just-
marker.
Maybe I was just so
Yeah.
enthralled that I didn't even catch it. But yeah.
No, I hope if anybody, like I said, I'm always there. Please send anybody about anything. Not growing questions, though. I don't know how to grow the stuff. I only know how to consume it.
Oh, I thought that's what a budtender meant.
No, growing this plant it's an art.
Yeah.
To be really good at it, it takes a lot of passion and it takes a lot of time.
That really answers the question I was trying to ask earlier. I thought budtender meant you were growing and clipping, and budtender means you work in the store.
Front line,
Okay,
explaining to
got
people what they might want to consume. And that's why I said there's no standard. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, I like that stuff," and I'm like, it's not
Congrats,
the most
you're a budtender.
It's not the most effective, right? Let's use some CBD. But yeah,
All right.
love y'all.
Sick, dude. Fascinating.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
We need to get to destination penetration. We have a
We do.
vacation to plan, boys.
We gotta figure this out here. We gotta land on one.
Jason, you want to take us into the...
Yeah.
You want to penetrate us?
I do.
Sir David Cope is part of this.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
I like this.
Yeah.
I once went to a disc golf course.
So we have knocked down everything a peg to where all we have to do is we got to
Yeah.
do 6 matchups.
And they'll go
tonight.
quicker because we
They'll
know.
go quicker, right? Because if you want to hear the details about any of these courses, if you're just jumping into the destination penetration here, go back to previous episodes where we kind of go into a deeper detail about these. But I'm just gonna do the Cliff's Notes versions of each one of these courses as we get to it.
Did you all write down your predictions of who's going to...
shit.
Oh,
PTP.
I got a prediction. Is this what's going on here?
All right, so our first matchup tonight, we are going to see Crockhole Disc Golf Course in Sigurd, Norway.
It's
Japan.
not Japan.
No, it's not.
Sigurd.
Yeah, I can't help but say it that way.
Yoroshiku arigashimasu.
Is that what I'm seeing? Is that what I'm seeing on the TV right now?
Yeah. So there are 18 holes there. They use Pro Basket Elite Targets, turf tees. They have 2 layouts, and there are 4 other nearby courses.
You're putting that silhouette shot. That's it.
Oof,
That-
that
I
is
mean,
beautiful.
like,
Look
what-
at that.
That's sharp.
Just
Look
at
at that. Was
least
there
for
a
the
roof over
Instagram
that, Sheila? If
photos.
you could go back down, is there a roof over that tee box?
That's what it looks like. And
And
that
Oh,
might
yeah,
be
it
a
looks
wall.
like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Look at them.
Yeah, that place is fancy. And so we have put that up against the Diavolo Disc Golf Course at New Hope Park in Cary, North Carolina. They have 22 holes there. They use Disc Catcher Pro targets. They have Eco tee pads and concrete, 2 smart layouts, and red, white, and blue tees.
That
So
basket looks elevated.
with
Out immediately. Not gonna happen. No, get it off the list. I don't even know why it's on there. How is it a contender?
Unbelievable. So with that being
Unbelievable.
said, I think Alex, you're going to start us off. How do you feel about the matchup between Crockhole and the Diavolo?
Diavolo.
Just like that, huh?
Done.
Don't want to talk about it?
I want to go to North Carolina. It's accessible. There's other disc golf we can do there. There's people I know there that I'd like to see. It just seems more accessible. I hope this doesn't throw off the vibe for the rest of this game.
There's
but
a new
like,
lens we're looking at it through now.
Yes.
Right.
Now that we have like an end goal,
Yeah.
like we have to think
Just
of it
got
realistically.
serious.
I'm going to pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
I'm going Diablo for the same reason. It's more accessible. We can actually go do it,
Yeah.
and we can hold ourselves to this if a course wins that is in the US of A. So I am also with Alex Diablo.
If a course wins that happens to be in Lockport, Illinois. Yeah.
Ryan?
Yeah. Because of this new lens we are looking through, I want to say Diavolo, but I'm not going to. I'm going to say Krokol, Norway.
Oh,
Because that course looks like the coolest course that I have ever seen.
100%.
And
Like,
undoubtedly.
the pictures are beautiful.
And I know it's going to get shot down, but yeah, it's got to be Norway.
If you're going to build a case for the international travel, we need to talk more about what else are we going to do on that trip.
No, I'm not going to.
You literally don't care about what else we would do while we're there aside from just play that course?
Is there anything but disc golf?
We would figure it out once
Yes.
we plan it.
Yeah.
All disc golf, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all there needs to be.
Fair.
I don't know if can we check if they're cannabis legal? I don't think they are.
In Norway?
Yeah,
I don't know.
God, I would
that would be a
Norway
factor.
would be.
I mean, that
so.
would be a factor
Yeah.
in all of my decision making. But can
I think they have
chime in?
medicinal
Yeah, chime in.
hot
Do you, guys,
tubs.
do you guys want the truth? I'm typically 2 thumbs up for elevated baskets, but Krokol looks so much cooler. So
That's
enjoy your
2.
trip to Norway, folks.
It's 2-2. You
2
got to
to
weigh
2.
in, Jason.
That means I do have to weigh in. And if
Wait,
that
did
is
you-
the case, then we are going to the Diablo. Yep.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. But I think for me personally, I can get by and looking at those beautiful pictures. I don't need to see
That's how I
it
feel.
with
Touche.
my eyeballs. So the Diablo for me.
It's also like you don't know what you're missing. If I never go there, I'll
Right.
never
It's
know.
American made, damn it.
America. All right,
right.
fine.
All right, that means the Diablo has
I mean,
made it into the final.
When
4.
all is said and done, North Carolina, let's go.
Let's go. Right.
So I'm not even upset.
Yeah,
All
kicking
right.
and screaming, right? I'm gonna have to drag you.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's a bummer, man.
So let's talk about how you feel about Iowa, because our next matchup sees Wildcat Bluff in Vinton, Iowa. They have 21 holes, Mach X baskets, mixed tee. Why does it say that? Mixed tees dash concrete. What is that?
There's
Mixed
they also have
tees.
like some of the pads are like pavers, I think.
I see. Mixed tees, concrete, brick pavers, and rubber mats.
There you go. Mixed teas.
Mixed
Some of the tees are Hispanic and African
and
American.
African American.
Yeah.
That's
Some of them have lemonade
makes
in them too.
sense. Oh my god, that's good stuff.
Here we go.
So that was Wildcat Bluff, and it is going up against Puyo Kiopio. In Kiopio, Finland. 18 holes, disc catcher, main layout.
It's got the tower.
Yeah, this is one with the tower. Turf tees, 1 smart layout. So that was, let's see, that was 4th seeded Wildcat up against 12th seeded Puyo Kiopio. So that means, Mr. Fancha, you're going to lead us off on this one.
Not because it's attainable, but Wildcat Bluff just seems like the superior course.
Been on our collective list,
Yeah.
I think, for a long time.
It's been on the list, and yeah, as much as I would love to go to Finland and Norway, I think Wildcat, purely from a disc golf course standpoint, is the better course.
The better course. Fair enough, Sean.
Same. I'm going to go Wildcat. This is one that a lot of people have come into the shop and bragged about going to and or having gone to. And just one of those things where I'm like, man, I got to get out there and check this out. It's been on my short list for a long time. So hopefully I'd like to see this go to the finals.
Nice.
Let's go Wildcat.
Cope, where we at on it?
100% Wildcat. It is a really cool looking course. I've actually heard about it too, and no offense to the other one, but the finished course did not look as cool as the other one.
It looked like it still has some time to grow before it's going to be like epic, as where I think a place like Wildcat has got some charm to it already and some stories. So that's a factor for me.
Excellent. Well, that means Wildcat takes it, but yeah, go ahead.
And from last time, Wildcat has we can see the giant frying pans
That's
of
right.
Iowa.
Well,
Come on.
We can also
So,
camp at Wildcat.
What are we talking about? Oh, that's right.
Every time somebody says
Camping.
Wildcat, will you drop like a
Yeah.
please?
Wildcat.
No.
Wildcat.
Please. You know the song the Wildcat by Rat-a-tat?
I do.
Yeah.
That's a bop right there.
Yes, it is.
Was that Rat-a-tat or was that Banana Ramstein?
Banana Ramstein.
Okay.
Full circle.
All right, Alex, Wildcat's taking it, but is there any discussion to be had on your perspective here?
I have said everything I needed to say about Wildcat. Love it. Can't wait to go back.
Excellent. So that takes the Western Division down to the Diavolo versus Wildcat Bluff. But before we get there, we need to talk about the Eastern Division, where we're going to see 15th seeded Neatman Creek in Germantown, North Carolina. Germantown, North Carolina. They have 18 holes, Prodigy T1 targets, and Turf T.
And hole 9 from Delwood.
And hole 9 from Delwood. And that went up against 7th seeded Idlewild in Burlington, Kentucky. 24 holes, disc catcher pro targets. I cannot say the word disc catcher without saying disc catcher for some reason.
Yeah, that's all right.
Pro targets, concrete and turf tees, and 7 smart layouts. So I think this one is yours, Sean. You're going to lead us off between Neatman and Idlewild.
Oof. Are we looking at photos of Idle? What are we?
Yeah, this is Idlewild.
This is Idlewild now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it on coverage many, many times. This is another one that's on the short list. I feel like it would be foolish to not pick Idlewild just the popularity vote alone. And look at that fairway with the rough, and oof, that's nice. Let's go up. What is the brick paver? Is that like a welcoming like Idlewild?
It says Idlewild,
like,
yeah, in brick pavers.
Oh.
I was on you just the other day, and
I'm a
caught that, and I was
sucker
like,
for shit like
that's
that,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for shit. It's Idlewild. It was always going to be Idlewild.
That's cool. And I did want to include that we talked about it last time. Neatman Creek does require you to pre-register to receive the address.
That was a little strange.
Little strange. Not enough to sway a decision, but
Yeah.
a little strange. So Sean's Idlewild. Cope.
100% Idlewild.
Nice.
It's a course that I've wanted to get to for a very long time. So doesn't matter. Could have put Idlewild against anything. That's my jam.
Excellent. Seminary.
I don't even remember what the other one looked like because I didn't pay much attention to it. I knew it was going to be Idlewild. And I think the biggest justification for me is the conversations I'd be able to have afterwards. Everybody who knows it, you get to talk about your perspective on it. And like, you're going to get to talk to all the other people who've played it, whereas I've never heard anybody else talk about Neatman. So if I go play and have a great experience, cool, but who am I going to share that with?
Right.
I mean, it'll just be us, which will be great, but I want to be part of the lore. You know?
Yeah.
According to Jason Allen, it would be neat, man.
Would be neat, man.
Neat, man.
All right. That means Idlewild moving on. Ryan, you want to chime in or?
Nah.
No? Fair enough. Our last matchup in the Eastern Division before we go down to our absolute final four is between...
It's getting very real.
Yeah, I know. Stafford Woods in Voorhees Township, New Jersey. 18 holes, Disc Catcher Pro, and Chainstar Brick Pavers is what they use at Stafford Woods. Plus, their sign is kind of cool. That it's that big...
cool.
That big piece of wood with Stafford Woods
Sounds cool.
carved into it is very cool. And Stafford...
I love all of you.
Stafford went up against the crevices at Delwood Park in Lockport, Illinois.
The crevasses.
Can you show me
crevasses.
pictures? I haven't seen this place yet.
Yeah, we'll catch up. Cope, don't worry. 27 holes, Mach X targets, concrete tees, 17 smart layouts. And don't forget, it is a 0-minute drive from Delwood.
Is
to
that
get to
Juliana
Delwood,
Corver?
So keep that
Yes.
in mind.
The
is.
great?
The great
The JK.
Jacques.
Golly. This Delwood
Uh,
place looks interesting. Have y'all ever been there?
It's cute.
Oh, look at that Ezra Aderhold fella.
Yeah.
Look
Look
him
at those
go.
triceps, yeah.
I'm telling. Is that cat merch?
That
Dude, you
is.
guys got some ballers.
Cope,
I heard
lead us
Ryan
off.
Fancher plays there.
I will lead you off. If I have the time to go play a good round of disc golf, it is always to Delwood at the Canyons. I love that place. It's just such a great property. I can't say anything other than Delwood.
Nicely put. Alex.
Before I tell you why my answer is the Canyons, I want to talk about the that sound you made when you talked about Jason in Friday the 13th. Do you know the origin of that sound?
I do because I watched the movies that made us.
You guys all saw it?
Uh-huh.
That it's
I watched it, but I don't remember this, so I'm excited to relearn it.
So the audio guy was trying to come up with a way to convey that the killing was like from like Jason's mom telling him, like it was like a voice in Jason's head. So he like took the first like sound of what he thought the mom would say to Jason, which I think is like kill them, and so it's like kill, da, 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 da. So there's actually like a dialogue thing that's happening there. It's not just a random sound. So they made that sound up to try to convey that's like what he was hearing in his head.
Whoa. I don't remember that. That is very cool.
It's kill.
Super cool. And that's also why I don't want to go to Voorhees. So
yeah, we don't want to get hacked
That's
up.
why the Canyons is my answer.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've been to New Jersey. I don't need to go back.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Woke up this morning.
It looks like the Canyons are moving on. That's very exciting to see. So that
The Gabagool.
I don't really know what that is.
You know, gabagool.
I don't have to have
What
that.
he's trying to say is gabagool.
Guys, all right.
I don't really think that we have that.
That's okay.
Bring in the gabagool.
Our final four is the Diavolo against Wildcat Bluff and Idlewild versus the Canyon.
Shocker.
So it is.
No Netherlands.
No Netherlands.
Wow, what a surprise.
I'm sure there's great disc golf.
Made in America.
All right, so let's move back over to the Western Division because we need to talk about its last matchup, which once again, let's talk about the Diavolo disc golf course that is in New Hope Park, Cary, North Carolina. 22 holes, disc catcher pro targets, eco tee pads and concrete, 2 smart layouts, red, white, and blue tees.
I don't think we need to do that again.
Yeah, not at this point.
Yeah.
I like saying it.
Okay.
You can cut
Too
it
late.
up.
He
And
already said
the
it.
Diavolo went up against Wildcat Bluff in Vinton, Iowa. 21 holes, mock X baskets. Mocks? No. You know what? I'm not going to say it. How about that?
Mock X. Mock X.
Mock X.
So that
Mox
means we
X.
circle back to Alex. You are leading us off. The Diavolo versus Wildcat Bluff.
I freaking had a M. Night Shyamalan twist on my own bracket.
Really?
Because I had written down that I thought Wildcat was going to win it all, and that's the one I wanted to win it all. But the more I've thought about it in the last 2 minutes, I'm going Diavolo. Because I've never been to North Carolina, and I would not. I think if we go play Wildcat, that's like, I don't know what other courses there are there. I also don't know what else we would do there. I'm sure we'd have a great time just camping and chilling there. But I think if we went to North Carolina, we might hit another cool course
But
out there.
you'd be camping and chilling with me.
Well, are we not going to camp and chill together if we go out there? Can we just not? We can just camp nearby.
Yeah. That's
True.
That's true.
True.
Little camping trip.
So I'm going surprise myself, Diavolo.
Boom. Diavolo gets one vote.
Okay.
It was Ryan Pincher.
Can I abstain?
You have to vote. If you don't want to vote second, you can be skipped all out.
Skip me.
Okay. We'll
I haven't
circle back
decided.
there. Sean, where you at on the
Spicy.
Diavolo versus Wildcat Bluff?
When we first talked about Wildcat, the camping was brought up immediately by Alex because you went there and you camped.
No,
No,
I just went
you
up
just
there for the
went
day,
there.
but I saw all the tents like on the course.
Yeah. And I've been to some other courses where you can camp on site, and I've always been like, man, that seems like a lot of fun. So from the very beginning, Wildcat, that is my vote. That is my vote.
Man.
I'm into the
Go
idea
do
of
it.
camping on site.
vote each.
That'll be fun.
I got your back. You ready?
Yeah, we got a tie right now.
Here's,
What's
here's
going
a
on?
solid answer because I hate not throwing on concrete tee pads. I'm going to go with Wildcat also. Wildcat had the concrete tee pads there. That is something that really does make a difference.
It totally does.
I'm a big boy. All right, y'all
You're
saw
tall,
the Kenny
man.
fall. We all know, right? It is
God
graceful,
bless
but
him.
it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't like falling down, so I'm going with concrete tee pads 100% of the way.
Kenny fall. Thank you
Wow.
for bringing that up. That always makes me happy.
It is one of the coolest.
The tuba sound is what I always hear when I think of that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that there was like a meme that was like dun, 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 and then it like showed like somebody like rolling around.
Yeah.
I always wanted to
Yeah.
do that with Kenny
Make
falling
him
off that
just
seat pad and just have
looping.
him constantly falling out into space. You know, I desperately want. I'm not that good at Photoshop.
That's good.
Oh God, Sheila is.
Mr. Fancher, it is your turn to vote. It is 2-1, heavy on the Wildcat.
I feel like this is somebody who's putting, and I'm not looking at them.
Yeah,
I'm, not
don't
looking, I'm
look.
looking away so he can make his decision.
Stand.
Don't stand in his
Be a tree. Be a tree.
Yeah.
Be a tree, man. Be cool.
I thought I would be stronger when it came to this decision, but this is tough to make. This is between very attainable and camping, and it does sound awesome and like a dream trip.
Sure.
type
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. Flip a coin.
Oh my God.
Flip a mini marker from the Fox Valley Metro.
One
Disc
side
Golf
is
Club.
the UD logo, and one side is the FVMDGC logo. I was looking at it. I cheated. UD is Diavolo.
Uh-huh.
FVMDGC is Wildcat.
That's Wildcat.
No, I'm going to go Wildcat.
What is
I
your
did
problem?
not see that. That was Ryan's own Jolene moment there. I did not see that.
No,
coming.
I had to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
That means Wildcat has
I feel like I
won
just cheated on a girlfriend, though.
the Western Division.
Ugh,
Pretty
I
exciting
don't like it.
stuff. All right. A Wildcat.
By the way,
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna
was
make
looking like a
this-
possibility.
This is going to be a ornament on my Christmas tree this year.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Aw.
That'll look great.
Dude,
Yeah.
thanks again. I love this thing so much.
Absolutely.
All right. That means the final matchup in the Eastern Division this is where the shit's going to get
Look
real.
at Sean dancing.
It is Idlewild versus the Canyons. Idlewild in Burlington, Kentucky, 24 holes versus the Canyons in Lockport, Illinois, 27 holes. So, Ryan, you're going to start it off. Idlewild versus the Canyon.
All right. The UD side is no.
FV.
The Canyons is 0 miles from
From the Canyons.
the Canyons.
The Canyons, yes.
It is also 4 miles from my front door,
From your front door. That's correct.
and so I have to go Idlewild.
Oh.
No, it is. We play Canyons constantly. We're there all the time.
Right.
But Idlewild is like another dream
It's another dream
course,
trip, right?
and yet I have to.
Yeah.
I have to pick Idlewild.
Got one vote. Sean, moves to you.
Same. Now that we are talking about this trip, I am very excited about going on an actual trip, and we can't just go on an actual trip right down the street where I go 6 or
Right,
7 days
6
a
or
week.
7 days. Yeah.
So Idlewild,
Would have been funnier.
yes.
This is not going to change your opinion, but
Yes.
it's a fun idea. What if the trip of going to the canyons meant we camped there overnight and took magic mushrooms and took a trip to the canyons?
I don't
that
get
would be a
invited to this
very
Canyons.
a bad place for me to trip. I would not have good vibes there because
Yeah.
I'm in work mode when I'm
Yeah.
in
Fair.
the canyons.
Fair.
Yeah. You
So
wouldn't be able
understand
to
it-
disconnect.
And
Understand
imagine the
it, yes.
machete guy.
Right.
Oh God,
He pops
It
up,
would be
we're on
yeah,
shrooms.
for me. It's a little different.
He's,
If you need
and
a
he's
trip
all he
sitter
hears
about
is
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I can,
exactly.
I'm a pretty good trip sitter. If you need me to come through, I should.
Sean, Sean. You guys heard that too, right?
if he comes out in a hockey mask, bro.
Dead.
I think I would befriend him if he did that. I would be
Yeah.
like, it's
Wise.
time. We are now
Wise.
friends.
That's too
Fair
good.
enough, right.
But
That's
that's a vote for Idlewild, right?
Yes, sir.
Cope, it's to you with heavy Idlewild here.
The islands of Idlewild are something that I've wanted to throw for such a long time. I think it's one of the coolest courses out there. Idlewild 100% of the time.
Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
I love the canyons though, but play it a lot.
Yes.
No comments, but
Yeah, I was
Idlewild.
gonna say.
Idlewild,
Right.
obviously.
Right, gentlemen. This is the realest of the real.
Wow, what a
You know, when we started this, it was like for funsies, but now that
the stakes are high.
the stakes are high on this, and I'm kind of like, I can feel I got the little like flutter in my chest about this.
It's like cows on edibles. The
it
stakes
is-
are high.
The stakes are high.
Ba-dum.
That was so good.
All right.
Thank you.
I think that's the name of the
really
episode.
good.
The stakes are high.
Yeah,
Stakes are high.
that is
So
phenomenal.
it is
Perfect.
time.
The stakes are high.
That's
Is a
it.
great name.
Stakes are high.
Oh my god.
It
Spell
is
it
time
correctly.
to put Wildcat Bluff
Yeah. Oh,
in
yeah.
Vinton, Iowa, up against Idlewild in Burlington, Kentucky.
Okay, I have
and
my prediction
Sean.
crossed out from this side, but I can.
You are going to lead it off.
So we're going on a trip.
And our little
What's-
rocket ship.
What's the drive?
Yeah, how far is
Kentucky's
Wild?
about like
I'll give
6
that to you.
maybe?
Yeah.
So Wildcat Bluff, 4-hour drive from Delwood.
Okay.
And Idlewild is a 5-hour drive.
Oh, this
from
is so
Delwood.
great.
So, yeah.
Oh my
Virtually
God.
negligible. What's another hour?
In the car with Jason?
This is a 2-car trip for sure.
This is a 2-car trip.
But if you want to, you can send me with Jason. I'm here.
So once again, you do have the opportunity at Wildcat to visit Iowa's largest frying pan.
Okay.
And at Idlewild, you are pretty close to the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens, or you can take a tour of the Hidden Brewery Caverns, complete with beer tasting.
Plural.
Just saying.
Multiple caverns.
Multiple caverns.
There is, I think, a lot more to see if we do not go to Iowa. So my vote, Idlewild.
That is one vote for the
Why did
wild.
you have to go and make a good point?
All right. That means Cope, you're up. Idlewild versus Wildcat.
Been saying it from the beginning. I'm going to stick to it forever. Idlewild, enjoy your trip. It's going to be awesome. 5 hours is, do it. Go.
Excellent. Sonary,
Can
you can decide right now.
I know. Can we agree that we'll camp even if we go to? We'll just find somewhere else to camp.
We will camp.
Idlewild.
He just wants to camp.
Bingo.
Idlewild. That means we are headed to
Puyo
Kyopio. We are headed to Idlewild in Burlington, Kentucky. 24 holes, disc catcher pro target, concrete turfs and tees, 7 smart layouts, a 5-hour drive from Delwood. Idlewild is a pro-level course that will challenge any golfer, one of the toughest courses in the world, disc golf pro tour course since 2017. And we will be 30 minutes southwest to Rabbit Hash, where a dog was elected mayor in 1998.
Dog mayor!
Let's go, dog mayor!
Oh, dog mayor.
Idlewild.
Good decision, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dogmare. Twice.
Wow.
Did any of you pick Idlewild before?
What was it? You had Idlewild? You did?
I
Yeah.
100% picked
You
Idlewild
did?
also.
All right.
I had
That is
Wildcat.
the most.
But I also thought Idlewild was further away, and I thought it was twice as
that was
far.
gonna- right.
I thought that was going to sway people.
Sway people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wildcat
Say
is
this
the thing is it's so accessible that it really is like a weekend trip. I'm sorry, Wildcat and Idlewild are both weekend trips, but at the start I really thought it was more of a twice as hard to get to Idlewild, and I
Like a
did
real
not
trek.
realize.
You waste
Yeah.
8 hours a day driving somewhere. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like you get much production afterwards.
Right.
But
Yeah.
5 hours, you're like, we can get a round in on the way down.
Exactly.
And like,
Dude, that's when we need to map out what are we going to play on the way down.
The Soul Train. So that was.
All right, UD does Idlewild.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a blast.
We have to plan this, but what are we thinking? Fall, late summer?
Yeah.
What do you guys-
Whenever you
I
guys
would
slow
love
down.
a-
It's Thursday. What are you
I
guys
would
doing Saturday?
I would love a summer trip.
Camping in the summer's a little rough compared to the fall.
For you.
It's gonna be. You want to sleep outside when it's like 90?
No, I want to sleep when it's 70 and play golf when it's 90, and not play golf when it's 70 and try and sleep when it's 45.
Oh, I love sleeping when it's like 50 degrees out and golfing when it's 70. That is perfect. So I will advocate for the fall, but we'll figure it out.
Late summer.
you can meet in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting this together, Jason. This is a ton of fun. And look at
Yeah,
where
this was
we
great. And Sheila.
and she.
She deuced all over this.
My bad. You've been so quiet today.
Wait.
Oh. Okay, we covered a lot today. Surprise! We are actually going to get into the mailbag before we get out of here, which means that it is mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Mail time.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Jason was on key.
The perfect guest.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Casey Glade has a question. She wants to know, how many milligrams of edibles do you suggest is the perfect amount to consume before a disc golf round?
Honestly, 0 might be the reality of it. I'm not against you consuming and doing whatever you want to, but adding an intoxicant in between you performing your best, especially if you're going to play a tournament, I think that we can slow our use down for a few hours to stay as conscious as we can. And I do understand that people use cannabis as a alleviant of some of those anxieties, but for those few hours when you're being your peak at a sport or something that takes your cognition, I recommend maybe 0. CBD might be your better play there. A nice 20-25 milligrams of CBD will help you kind of reduce your inflammation through the round. You'll stay a little bit looser, not stay so spastic. It is also very good at reducing anxiety and depression and all those things. So a little dose of CBD, maybe pre-round, but THC, less is more.
Are you trying to dethrone the doctor right now? You sound like a true cannabis doctor.
I'm falling in love with you on this podcast, just so you know. I want to be your girlfriend.
They've been holding hands for about 45 minutes.
Real girlfriend, dude.
I think there's a proper amount of anything. If you do it, that's okay. Again, it's probably better than smoking in the middle of the round. I've been hawked at my whole life for that thing. That's why I don't compete a lot of times, because I like to consume and play at the same time typically. But, if that's your thing, if you're going to compete and you're going to be part of a put together thing, be respectful. Less is more.
Excellent answer.
Wow. Yeah.
I got a couple that are geared directly towards you. You can just answer them real quick.
Oof.
Clay Bielfus
Love
wants
Clay.
to know, do you use product on that magnificent beard of yours, or do you go raw dog?
I do use a product. Shout out to Beard Scarred in Batavia. They actually are really good at maintaining beards and taking care of stuff. They make all of their own product right next door. The lady who owns it is a brilliant human. I recommend them fully. I clearly have not had my beard cut there in a little bit, but they have a COVID policy about being vaccinated and such, and I don't meet the requirements, so my beard is an untamed mess at this point. Policies possibly changing soon.
On this subject, I just ran out of the Cuban vanilla. Is there any more of that?
I'll figure something out.
I get compliments
There's probably
all
some
the time
down
for that.
here right now somewhere.
There might be.
What are those?
Yeah.
Venture makes fantastic beard oil.
Do you? Please.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
Please.
Moving on. Ryan Stilson has your next question.
Oh, God, I love
Why do you only throw yellow colored discs?
They're so much easier to see. And they're cheap and nobody else wants them. And I can replace them for pennies compared to your white discs or blue discs or whatever. And also they're easier for me to I can't see. Literally throw like highlighter yellow plastic.
Piece of cake.
Yeah,
No
piece of cake.
brainer. No
And it's
brainer.
cheap.
Nobody wants them, just like yellow starbursts.
So I was the yellow runt kid in school. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
no. That's the end. Nope. End of the episode.
Banana, dude.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Whoa,
Whenever-
what do you got against banana?
Those are the only ones I wanted.
so
That's not banana.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
That's
is.
manufactured garbage.
okay,
In
can
the
I
shape
actually
of
let
a
me get
banana.
real dork for 1 second,
ahead.
please? What we understand as bananas nowadays are not
We're
the
not.
real thing.
Right.
Boom. Roasted.
It's the
I
Gros Michel
understand.
is what we are now experiencing. But it is a manufactured banana. All the bananas in the past got a fungus or something, and they all died. And now they're all lab created. And what we taste on a banana candy is what bananas used to taste like, comparatively to what we now know as the Gros Michel, which we all eat. And
And I
know
say
a little
good
bit about
riddance
bananas.
because banana candy
Is
tastes
there
like garbage.
Is there a Culver's near here?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting banana ice cream on the way home. It's like a little concrete mixer. I get the Reese's and bananas in it.
Oh.
I go to
Yeah.
Andy's. I get the
Alex.
banana peanut butter chocolate shake quite a bit. Jam and
Andes.
yeah.
Reese's and banana sound so good together.
Yeah.
Dog. Trust me.
I have Reese's cereal upstairs, and I'm gonna eat a bowl.
Speaking of, Nick
Caught me off
Kaminsky
guard.
had a great question, but he smoked a bunch of dabs and now he can't remember. So,
That's
all right,
Nick,
moving on.
Less is more.
I think our last question in the mailbag is from Macwell Froth. He knows who he is. Do you see any negative side effects from long-term medical users? If so, what are they and how can they be avoided?
Whoa, that's a
You
great
just-
question.
I am of the mindset that we should possibly only use this when we need it. Right. So if you're using directly for symptom relief or condition treatment, use it until symptoms are gone or treatment is over. Right. And I think that that is how all medicine should go. There is a point in probably all of our lives, if we run into a condition, we have to accept that that condition is now part of us. But I think that, again, doing the right things for it can benefit you far more in the long term than feeling good immediately, because smoking a bunch and getting high and all the things that people allude to as being the bad parts it's bad. You don't want to get blasted. I want to give you comfort, and it is very achievable with the plant. So long-term use, as long as it's not a lot, right? Like even Willie Nelson had to slow down because his lungs are shot. So smoking this stuff all the time, probably not great. But so long term, low, slow, less is more. And make sure, if you're treating something directly, there's a science behind why you would use different treatments compared to just, I'm going to smoke the stuff that tastes good to me, or the stuff that has the best marketing, or the stuff that has the highest numbers, or whatever. It's all a bunch of trash. Understand cannabinoids, understand terpenes, understand methods of ingestion. And I think you can have some great success. It doesn't have to be long-term either. There can be short-term use and actually great success for longer periods of time.
God, it was such a good
Come on.
answer.
throw an audience applauding.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or that. Great call. Thanks again, dude. Amazing. So much great insight. Thank you for all you do for disc golf. Thank you for all you do for people and quality of life. You are a rare breed, and it was so cool to get to hang out with you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you all for having me.
Likewise.
I honestly, like I said, I just started recently listening to the show. You guys do an unbelievably cool thing. You have way cooler guests than I thought, and listening to some of these people that I don't know at all, but have heard around the community, to hear their perspective on things. I think you guys are doing something very cool here. It is a shame that there is not a bunch more commas involved in how many people are listening, because this is one of the coolest listening shows. That's it. I'm not going to tug y'all anymore. I love y'all.
Keep going.
Tug.
I was so close.
Yeah, right? He had to switch hands because he was right there.
Jason's showing me how stimulated he is again.
That's right. So before we put the final cap on this and sign off, if one of the most prolific rappers of our generation decided that he was going to do strictly Christian nu metal, what would he call himself?
I know the second part.
Yeah, me too.
Ludacris the Redeemer.
It's
close.
Ludacris.
It's
funny.
The most prolific
That's
rapper.
very funny. Good.
I had a guess. I had a shot in the dark.
Yes.
That's better than
say
the
it
rest.
one more time for me.
One of the most prolific rappers of our generation.
Rappers
Decided that he was only going to do covers of Christian nu metal. He would call himself
Is the band, is it POD?
Notorious.
Notorious
POD.
Damn it!
Wow. Yeah, and one more for you.
That's good.
Notorious POD.
Wow. On that note, guys.
You need to make these playlists.
I'm working on it.
You need to work.
That's next step.
You need to.
Ludacris is very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ludacris
was fire.
Can you take
Tupac Creed.
On that note,
Yep.
Till next time, y'all. Keep it on the fairway.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Y'all be good now.
Later.
Peace.
Unstable Discourse is produced by Sheila Callahan. Edited by Ryan Fancher. Beats provided by Alex Seminary. And produced in association with Unstable Disc Golf Gear. Look good, feel good, play good.
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me.
Unstable Discourse is a Top Secret Studios production, baby.
This old lady better exist!